What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 290. I'm your host, Ainsley Bowden, and we have a lot of games to talk about today, as we're going to be talking about not only everything we've been playing and a whole bunch of recent reviews, but we're going to be going through the rest of 2024 and all the biggest games still to come, provide updates on those, and check in on some of the ones we've been anticipating for a long time. So crazy to think we're a third of the way through the year already, so we figured it would be a good time to do that. Anyway, the cast is all here. The guys are ready. Mr. Tie Guy, how we feeling, my friend?
We are feeling quite McClunky. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here today. Ains, you're looking elderly, and I'm happy to see you.
I'm getting up there, my friend. I'm getting up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You love to see it. Who's the oldest person on the show, by the way? Is it you or is it Dan?
Dan is older than me.
Dan's older? How old are you,
Yes.
Dan?
What year?
He doesn't remember. Whoa.
He's like, let me carry the one.
I'll be 49.
He's like a tortoise. Can we count his rings? Is that Did you say 45?
49 this year.
49. Oh my god.
Next year is big
That's
5-0.
like significantly older than me.
We're gonna have to do something big for the 5-0 show for sure. Let's hope it lands on a Sunday.
Let's hope I make it to that.
That's Travis's reaction so that we can use it when he turns 49.
You were born in the 70s?
75.
We all were born in the 70s, I think. Travis.
Wait, really?
1980.
80 for Hogue. Okay. All right. I'm 78. Wow. Yeah.
I was not born in either of those decades. You guys are old. Damn.
That's fair. It's fair. Dan, how we feeling this morning, my friend, at the glorious 48?
I'm here. You got a big giant glass of strawberry milk and a Dr. Pepper zero sugar.
Oh, he's 50, all right, boys. Strawberry milk. That's how you know.
Milk. You're either 50 or you're 12. One of the two.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have
In here, I'm like, I'm more 12. Out here, I'm like 82.
Is it Ovaltine?
It is Nestle
Quick Bunny.
Yeah, the Quick Bunny.
It's not the 50s, all right? We didn't go back that far, Travis.
The other one. It's not the one that you would think maybe a 50-year-old would drink. It's the Nest Quick one, the one that a 5-year-old would drink. Just making sure. I, for one, appreciate that Dan is retaining the spirit of youth. That is hard the older you get. So good on you, Dan.
Yeah,
yes, of course.
It definitely gets harder. For sure.
That it does. Mr. Law himself, the man of the law is what we're going to call you. Hogue, how we feeling?
Yeah, I'm a lawman now.
You're a lawman.
I'm good. I'm having fun. You guys always make me laugh. That's a good time on a Sunday.
There you go. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So
for the right reasons, though. It's like we state our opinions.
Sometimes
in the corner, just cracking up.
like 70-30, the right reasons. So, like I said, we're going to be talking a lot of games today. Got a couple of housekeeping things to talk about really fast. So, we're going to be giving away a copy of No Rest for the Wicked. So, Travis and I talked quite a lot about that last week. We can talk about your early access review this week, of course, Travis.
I have a suggestion. We've got a giveaway.
What?
You're
already interrupting me. Damn it! What'd you say?
Right. I have a suggestion for the giveaway.
Okay, go.
Can we give it out to our most wicked viewer?
How are we measuring that? Because I think we would all have different ideas about how we're going to do that.
Wickedness? I mean, let's come. I'm sure if we put our minds together, we can come up with a way to measure wickedness of our viewers. Let's do it, dude. Are you afraid of, Ains? Are you afraid of?
Afraid? Only for the channel, not for any other reason.
And of course, the channels he's simulcasting on.
Guys, yeah.
Go ahead. Sound off in the comments how say something wicked about yourself, and we'll go from there. Let's see who's the most wicked.
So we'll be giving that away, sometime in the middle of the show. So stay tuned for that. We're not doing a wickedness scale, but we'll figure it out one way or another. Final shout out on this. I think I've mentioned quite a few times that I'm playing, kind of raising extra money during the month of April for Extra Life. So link on the Season Gaming side. I'm going to put all super chats today on the SG side towards that as well. So any super chats on the SG side today will go directly to Extra Life and the children that I play for at Mercy Hospital. So just wanted to shout that out. And thank you all, like I said, for the generosity so far. It's been awesome. Appreciate that. And then finally, of course, we have Tide's picks. And it took me a minute when I saw her picks this morning because one, they're horrific. Two,
Really?
I didn't even know what we were referencing at first. And then, of course, I remembered that we were talking about Harold Halibut. So here we go, boys.
God. Oh no. Oh no, they fishified us. All right. So I cleared. No, Dan.
Dan's teeth.
Dan, you got the blobfish. I hate to tell you this.
I think this is the first set of photos that the AI has made Travis have the biggest head.
I mean, I don't know,
that's fair.
It's also the first photos where Hogue has been like definitely not the most handsome one here. I mean, none of us are really lookers, but Hogue, they really messed up Hogue's face pretty hard. So
Hogue, what's the name of the receptionist in the Monsters movie? You know, the old lady.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Wachowski. He looks like a skinny version of that. Like she lost a whole bunch of weight.
I gained a whole bunch of weight in this photo. This must be from my old days.
Looks like they started to put a mouth on your cheek. I don't quite know what's happening there, but
I think we all look like lawyers, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that checks out.
What I don't know if you noticed, but like I've got a goldfish. Yeah, I literally have like a tail.
He's just a fish sitting on a mannequin. Like there's no body there. It's just
why am I a fish that's prepared for Division 2? Why do I look like I have stun grenades and like out there ready to go?
Why does Dan look like a boss from Resident Evil 7? Biohazard. I keep expecting to enter a room.
Why do I always have coveralls on?
I don't know why, Dan, but I do know that just feels right. I'm with the AI on this one.
I get it.
You in coveralls with a bottle of jug that says XXX on it. That just feels right to me.
Right. That's about right.
God, that's great. Ty, thank you.
Did they give you a tie, by the way? Did they?
Yes,
I do have a tie. Yes,
that's very odd. All right,
good stuff. Oh man, all right, before we jump into the games we've been playing, we got a couple things to shout out. We got Don Lionheart coming in super early, an hour before the show with a super chat this morning.
Oh, man. An hour before. Jeez.
An hour before.
All right, good morning, Basket.
All right,
I guess Basket. Yeah. Travis, with Eternal Strands coverage concluded, I have a question. As somebody who absolutely cannot stand Shadow of Colossus, will I enjoy it? Shadow is a bad game.
Wow,
that's some people's favorite game of all time.
That's why he wanted to get in an hour early. He was like, I gotta get in here and out. I gotta get out of here.
He ran.
It's an interesting question. I would say it doesn't rely just on its Shadow of Colossus stuff. In fact, I would say the boss crawling fights are probably they're a big aspect of it, but they're not the main aspect really. They're kind of something you do as you go through the story. I would say it really depends. Like if you like Tears of the Kingdom's power, like physics manipulating stuff, then it could be for you. It is sort of like a combat heavy adventure game. So if you generally don't like combat heavy stuff, then you probably won't jive too much with you. It's an interesting take, gotta say. Shadow of the Colossus is pretty goated. So yeah, I don't know.
It didn't do much for me either, if I'm honest.
Really?
But yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But hey, there you go. Thank you, Don. Always appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. Shout out to the always generous Vintage Willow, who not only gifted 5 SG memberships like clockwork, but also on the Hogue side of the house with a supporting member comment.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Here we go. I have to thank Hogue for his stroke story. It led me to treat the headaches I was having at Sirius and get the what is BP meds I needed.
That is blood pressure.
Blood pressure. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you, Hogue.
Hey,
there you go.
If my only function is as a cautionary tale, I will still take it. Thank you, Vintage Willow.
That's awesome, Vintage. Thank you as always. Very appreciated. Midnight Jury as well with a 1 SG membership on all of our shows. Thank you very much, Jury. Good to see you.
Man.
Random name
with $4.99 super chat. Glad to be here. Don't get to catch live as much as you used to. Do you think that Fallout may have become Xbox's most valuable IP?
No.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of a scaled question, right? Like, what is Xbox's most valuable IP? It's not like they're dripping in them.
I mean, they have
Re-
quite,
really?
they own quite a few of IPs.
Was that?
yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was sarcasm or not. You don't think so?
I don't think that
What?
the Xbox universe of IPs is too strong. Even if we keep in ABK,
Minecraft.
I don't think.
You don't,
I don't
like.
think
I mean, my mind is reeling right now. You're like Elder Scrolls, Minecraft, Call of
Minecraft is the most
Duty,
valuable IP. I think
Halo,
it's
Fallout.
obvious.
Like, there's quite a lot.
I think Halo especially is a prior generation's valuable IP. I mean, it's like, is Star Wars the most valuable IP in the Disney library? No, not anymore. So I mean, I think you have to constantly evaluate these things.
I think maybe you're basing it off of if it's valuable to you rather than if it's valuable, because they still have a lot of valuable IPs, as does Disney. But Minecraft, dude, Minecraft is.
No, I mean, I think Minecraft is the most valuable. Again, Minecraft is not. I don't play Minecraft, right? So it's valuable in that it makes a lot of money. That's great. You're right that Fallout's never going to be that, because Fallout isn't structured that way, and Fallout is a unique kind of taste as it stands. But I just look at the Xbox library and portfolio, and outside of maybe Blizzard, I don't see a lot of value there. And even that is probably nostalgia tinged with the stuff that I like from back when Blizzard was really, really popular.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't even know where to start on this one. I would say that we're disassociating value from personal preference. I think I don't know. I think if you look at Xbox portfolio, obviously including Bethesda and ABK now, there's a ton of IPs there that I think are very valuable. The one thing about
unless we're going to say Candy Crush is the most valuable IP, I don't know that we're having a real conversation about these things.
Yeah, that's one up there too.
I don't know if that
I think in terms of
valuable because of the IP though. It's just a good game.
I think in terms of Fallout specifically, which random names asking about here, I think Fallout, I would say anecdotally, is bigger. And put the show aside, obviously the show has renewed interest. We've talked about that, right? But I think that Fallout is actually a more prominent IP than I think most realize. I didn't realize the audience for Fallout was as hardcore as it was until I started going to like E3 and some of the like Bethesda showcases. I mean, I know that again, it's anecdotal. We're talking about value, which is a whole different conversation. I'm just saying there are some really, really hardcore, large audience for the Bethesda IPs, which is primarily Elder Scrolls and Fallout. So I think the renewed interest at a more broader, maybe casual level might be the right word. I don't know. From the show is good. Good to see, Fallout getting renewed interest. I know I've been enjoying it, which we're going to talk about, but yeah, I don't know if it's the most valuable IP is what I'd say for Xbox, but it's definitely a valuable IP.
No, I mean,
More
it's got to
valuable
be
than
one of the
they were
ABK
expecting
things,
it to
but
be. Certainly,
it's got to be one of the ABK pieces of intellectual property. It's still difficult for me to think of those as Xbox though, because Xbox hasn't been in charge of that property enough to make any of them.
That's true, but I mean, they are. I mean, they are Xbox now. I mean, that's a fact.
Well, it's like I mean, I understand what Hoke's saying. It's like going to the store and grabbing like a dozen cookies and then taking them to like a potluck and being like, yeah, these are my homemade cookies. I think traditionally, if you want to think about like Xbox IPs, I think of Gears and Forza and
Dan, it would be like doing that if you owned the grocery store.
Yes, but they bought the grocery store instead of just the cookies. Yes.
Well, it's funny you said Gears, because I still, like, in my head, Gears is Epic and then it's Microsoft, but it's again not a homegrown property.
Oh well, I mean, there's a pretty good argument that game wouldn't exist without the Xbox relationship there,
and nothing of value would be lost.
Whoa!
Sorry, Gears fans.
All right, that's enough.
We get it. You have bad opinions of video games and nobody likes you. Let's move on.
Random name, by the way, said to reiterate one of the most valuable. I think it's up there. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to categorize them kind of,
I think
1, 2, 3, but I think it's
the headline for me would be that like Fallout suddenly has become a lot more valuable of an IP than I think they were even expecting. I think that's owed pretty much 100% to the show, but I love to see the resurgence because I've been a big Fallout guy, and it's a property that seems to hibernate quite a lot, and we don't hear from it for years. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yep. Random name, thank you, and Don with a follow-up super chat.
What if I just really like Mike Laidlaw? Good dude.
If you really like Mike Laidlaw, then yeah, he's intimately involved in the world building of that game. We did a video where we interviewed him, and he talks about the story and characters and the world. And so they didn't show me a ton of that stuff. The story is sort of still under or behind the curtain, I guess. But I can tell you that they're doing a whole lot of world building, especially for this kind of action adventure game. So I would expect there to be quite a lot of characters and story and world building stuff if you're into what that guy's known for.
You know what other game he was involved in?
Dragon Age.
Yeah.
Anthem. I actually did ask him about Anthem. So
yeah.
I think per your recommendation, actually. So
we have to find a way to mention Anthem as much as we can here. All right. So thank you to get us kicked off with the super chats. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, and the memberships, of course. Let's talk about reviews and games we've been playing this week. So I want to touch really quickly on, given Tide's picks, horrific picks, Harold Halibut. I have not played this. I know we talked briefly about it last week. Hogue and Travis both, I think, to paraphrase, were saying it's kind of incredibly slow and kind of monotonous. So Eric reviewed this for us over at SG, and it was kind of interesting because as he was playing through it, he was saying the exact same thing. It's just like he called out a quest where he had to deliver letters throughout the station or whatever it is. And he said, you can't just pick them up and go walk around and deliver them. He goes, you have to literally go one by one manually. So he goes, you pick up one letter, you go take the elevator, you have to walk all the way to the person, you have a 2-minute conversation, then you have to go all the way back, pick up the second letter. And he's like, I spent like an hour just, delivering a handful of letters. And he's like, this is not efficient game design here. He did say, so he gave it a 7 overall. And the reason why he said late, he said late in the game, it actually, he criticized the game aspect pretty heavily. But he said it does kind of build on the characters later on. And there's some pretty touching moments late in the story that come together eventually. He goes, you kind of have to trudge through it to get to it.
Sounds like an adventure game.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, if you want to read his review, we did a video review as well. It's up on the channel. You can check it out. But if nothing else, I would check out that game just for the sheer kind of interest in how it came together. You know what I mean? The time, how they built it. It's very, very kind of an interesting story behind Slow Brothers and their development there. So you can check that out.
I really like the SG review of Harold Halibut as someone that it really doesn't connect to very well. There's a lot of coverage in that review about the fact that they hand built some of the characters and some of the sets that they walk through and things that you can enjoy about the game as a thing that got made rather than what it actually is to experience the game. And I've played through it a lot more this week, especially spurred on by the Season Gaming review, which people should check out. Yeah, it's just like any adventure game, Travis, but adventure games in general have some kind of hook or drive or plot motivation that simply doesn't exist in Harold Halibut. It really is designed to be the kind of indie movie where the protagonist is a sad sack. And you get little bits and pieces of why he's a sad sack and little bits of internal life in various scenes. And that's nice. But for the most part, those movies don't make a lot of money because they aren't very popular with the people that like to watch movies. And so when we're talking about Harold Halibut, I would have to say, if you can get into an indie sensibility, if you want to watch a Wes Anderson movie tonight, you might want to check out Harold Halibut. But don't go expecting it to joke around with you like a LucasArts game of old or an adventure game that has a lot of drive and motivation.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
still do want to play more of that one. I didn't get a chance since the last show.
There's a lot to be said for how it is made and how it looks. It's very different from anything else. It does feel like you're playing a very specific kind of movie. But yeah, I don't think the storytelling is up to snuff just yet.
I mean, I'm glad it's on Game Pass. That's cool. More people will see it, take a chance on it. I think that's
you have to imagine that's why they did that, right? Is trying to get some eyes on it. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's Harold Halibut. I know we got a lot of games to talk about today. So, Travis, I presume that you can now talk about Another Crab's Treasure.
Oh yeah, big time.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so if you didn't see my review this week, Another Crab's Treasure, I gave it an 8 out of 10, which means it's great. It is a very cool game. It is a Souls-like, I would say probably a Souls-like that's aimed at beginners and people who don't play Souls-likes. It's very much like designed for like ease of understanding. It has tutorials that it makes you go through. It is easier in terms of combat, not a like ridiculously challenging game like a lot of Souls-likes. And the main thing that really resonated with me that made it such an enjoyable time is that it really casts aside the dark and gory edgelordian vibe that every Souls-like has, right? It's not going for Bloodborne vibes. It's not going for Dark Souls vibes. All of these games have the exact same kind of veneer of like grittiness. And this game says, nah, screw that. We're just going to make a super, light adventure with fun characters in a brightly colored cartoon world where there's talking crabs, and you play a hermit crab whose shell gets repoed, and you go on a quest to try to get it back from the government. That's the game. It is very silly. It's got lots of good jokes. It's well written. The voice acting's good. And it's just like such a breath of fresh air for the Souls-like genre that really goes a long way. Like it really does. I don't think I realized how much I was sort of sick of the you open up Lords of the Fallen and you go, okay, yeah, I get it. The world is dying like all Souls-likes situation. And this is just a completely different thing. So really, really cool game. I recommend people should support this. It's on Game Pass, so you should at least download it and give it a look, laugh at the opening moments. And it also it has some story twists and stuff that happen later on that kind of change the pace and the mood. And it's a very interesting game. The other main thing that I really love about it is because you play a hermit crab who has lost his shell. There's a mechanic where you run around jumping into various objects and using them as shells, whether that be soda cans or tennis balls or the little green tops that go on sriracha bottles, whatever you happen to find around. And each one that you jump into has its own power. It gives you like a special ability, right? So the tennis ball, you can roll down things and gain up speed and do like rollout moves on your enemies. The sriracha bottle top, you can do like a spin attack in place on the nose of the sriracha bottle. The soda pop can, you can generate fizzy bubbles that like do a magic bubble attack on your enemies. And it just has like so much creativity in the way the game works and the characters. You'll see like stuff in the game where you're like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. Like, how didn't I think of that when it comes to like the world building? So like, for example, one of the big plot points that's introduced early on is you're trying to find lost treasure, and the treasure map is the back of a cereal box where they have like those, can you find the treasure, like mazes, right? And they're like, oh, this is the treasure map, we need to find it. It's just like very funny. It's like, yeah, of course their treasure map is the back of a cereal box. So it's very cool game. And I think
it's great. I'll back Travis up on this. Visually, if you're thinking of like The Little Mermaid and Under the Sea as a Soulsborne game, that's what this is. It's very brightly colored. It's got that kind of Caribbean musical style, and you will enjoy yourself. It's a fun place to be. I will say that my daughter, who was observing me play it, was a little bit concerned about where all of these colored pencils came from and whether somebody lost a colored pencil case over the side of their boat, because that's not fun. And she would be very sad if that happened.
Fair.
And so
they do answer that question, by the way, later on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Did you get to the main
we'll have to get
yet?
there. Although I have to say, Travis, I know you have a limited amount of respect for me. I may have to lower it here. It's a little bit hard for me.
Okay.
There's a lot of things in this game that are trying to help. Like, you aren't limited to just the 3 health. You can get an extra health from various things around. That's very helpful.
Doesn't have limited flasks. That's really cool.
You can start where you died very often. There's a lot of things that are designed to help. But like the very first kind of heat check boss battle, I have fought like 7 times or 8 times. And I'm like, I think I'm going to need more levels. And I've done that 3 or 4 times.
Is it the lobster knight guy that attacks you early on? The crazy dude? Yeah, okay.
Yep. Who has some great dialogue about the law and the status of society and needing the law. But
Yeah.
A little bit tough for me. Got to be honest.
Okay. No, that's totally fine. I think that's a really interesting perspective because, as you know, I'm on the other side, and so for me, it was, just like something where I was like, okay, like I think this will probably be easy for people who don't normally play Souls likes, but if it's got a little bit of challenge, I think that's probably not a bad thing. I mean, I will say this: I've noticed that when you block in the game, you don't really take damage. It makes your shell take damage, and then you can change shells pretty easily. So, I think making use of it also might get a little easier once you start unlocking powers. Have you met the moon snail yet?
No, I've been in Moonstale shells, and I
Gotcha.
noticed that the soda pop can has something called fizzle, but I don't know what button that might be. So yeah, I was just thinking
Interesting.
about that, but I have not met
What
a
controller are you
Moonstale.
playing on? Are you on Xbox because it's on Game
I'm on
Pass?
Xbox. Yeah, it's on Game Pass. That's
Yeah,
where
so
I
it
live.
should just be the X button uses its power, so you'll launch like fizzy bubbles at the enemy, and that's like free damage, those abilities because they tend to be pretty strong, and the fizzy bubbles they home in on the enemy, right? So as long as you're nearby, you'll do damage. So
Let me tell you that my favorite part about this and what my daughter pointed out that I love is, in a Souls game, you lock onto the enemy that you're fighting. And if you think about what that would look like in real life, where you strafe around in a circle, you're essentially doing a crab walk. So what this guy does when he's got a lock on and he strafes is claws up, he fully crab walks around. And my daughter does that in and out of rooms with her
Nice.
friends. They love to do that. So she was super excited about the fact that this guy crab walked when he was circle strafing.
Yeah, they come up with so many great like little details in the game that I really, really appreciated throughout that game. The UI and UX is also fantastic. I don't know who worked on it, but they should get some kind of award because it's so colorful and pretty the whole way through.
It's very friendly and welcoming as a game.
If there's any Souls like, I hope you'll get further in, Hogue. It's this one. I really do.
Well, I'm playing a couple this week, but yeah, I do like it. It's very good. It's got some fun stuff. When you jump up, you can hold down the jump button and you kind of half crab swim a little bit.
Yeah,
which is a lot like a hover drop in a non-watery environment. So I like it. I hate the title. I feel like I've missed the first Crab's Treasure game.
Yeah, I think they should have called it Shell Divers.
You like Shell Divers? I talked to you in the chat. I would have called it Stellar Blade. But here we are.
Yeah, I played it briefly. I want to put more time into it, but you guys kind of covered everything I was going to say. I like the start of it where you get your house taken by the loan shark, and
yeah.
I will say this: it's an indie game, right? I mean, or it's not gone through the full publisher pass. I have gotten stuck on environments a couple times. I've had to use the kill button, that kind of thing. But it's
I
rare.
talked about the there are some bugs and some a little bit of camera jankiness too. It has that whole like Nintendo 64 age camera issue where the camera's like going through an object and you're like, oh
yeah.
But yeah, Ains, how far did you get?
Oh, super early, very early.
I really like Dark Shoals.
Dark Shoals
and Mortal Shells. Mortal Shells is good because
Mortal Shells, you don't even have to change the title. Yeah.
Because if you played Mortal Shell, the entire idea is that you're taking over different forms, so that
I reviewed that game. Yeah.
So did I. Yeah.
What'd you give it?
I don't freaking remember. I'd have to look. Yeah.
Somebody will find the answer.
But no, I'm like incredibly early. I put maybe half an hour into it. So I haven't gotten anywhere in it. I kind of jumped all over games this week, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it's definitely cool. I like the sense of humor. I like games that have a sense of humor like that and kind of play on themes. So I'll be playing it more for sure. But yes, it's on Game Pass. It's live. Check it out. As Travis said, we joked last week about Souls like everything saying Souls like, but I think this is easily more approachable and kind of lighthearted than you would expect.
Yeah, so. They also are making fun of Souls likes in a lot of ways. It sort of is like almost a satire of the Souls like genre, but it uses the Souls like genre, so it's really cool. Also, it gets way more like Sekiro later on. So if you're a Sekiro fan, like I think that's the one
to like parry or something.
No, it's like you get a fishing hook and you use it as like your grappling and your fishing hook around. Dude, they literally everything they do, you're like, it's brilliant. Like such a good idea. Whoever thought of that. So
nice.
Everybody should support that game because I hope it does well.
Sweet.
Well, in
Also,
fact,
you
you
can
don't
get it-
really parry at all, as best I can tell. You
You
block
do-
with your shell.
You do parry later on. So you do unlock a skill tree that gets into some more advanced stuff if you want to.
Travis, I don't want to parry. I was happy with not parrying.
Then
Yeah,
you
I
don't
don't like
have
parrying
to.
either.
There is 100% a block and be good at blocking build that you can do. Also, the game allows you to get all of the skill trees fully unlocked pretty easily. Like I did that pretty early on. So it does get a little bit more complicated, but not too much. They kind of let you pick your own level of complexity if you want. I myself was a perfect parry, try hard, which is very rewarding and also really easy in this game, because the way they do it is they make it so you hide under your shell, and then right as they're attacking you, you let go, and so it's like you pop out of your shell, and that's your perfect parry. It's like, haha, I'm a crab. Great.
It's how I live my social life.
Yeah. Somebody clip that. Haha, I'm a crab.
Question from Lucius. Shout out to Lucius. Good to see you, man. He said, when do you unlock the skill tree? I beat the first boss, but I haven't unlocked any skills yet.
You basically unlock it after the first, so there's that first boss that Hogue was describing. There's a boss almost immediately after that you will fight, and it's kind of like the first major boss of the game. And after that, you will unlock both the skill tree and the social hub. And once you do that, the game feels a lot more unique and less like Souls-like inspired, because you start to meet characters and do some story and go shopping in the town and other stuff like that. But you do have to get through 2 quick bosses. I don't think they'll be progress blocking though. They're both pretty, even if you're having trouble with them early on, I think they're easy to learn and get through. So
cool. Yeah. Very cool. So Hogue, I know we talked about this prior to the show. I don't know, Dan or Travis, if you guys are playing this game. It's on PS Plus. I believe it launched on PS Plus, the 2nd and 3rd tier, I think, but it's Tales of Kenzera Zao, which is a 2D kind of I don't know if you call it a Metroidvania type game, but
it's a Metroidvania, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tuesday 2 games came out, both of which are kind of indie or indie aimed at, that I want to talk about. One is
this is an
Kenzera
EA
Zao.
original. Yes.
Well, and EA originals are just publisher agreements with indies.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of good stuff that EA Originals has done that I like, that I would still classify as indie games. But Zao came out, and then Eiyuden Chronicle, which I talked about in the last episode, 100 Heroes, finally came out. And I want to talk about them both because I was really excited about both of them. And I am less excited first. Let's talk about Zao. So Zao, I think, has a problem. And its biggest problem is that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown came out this year. Zao is pretty good. Zao is colorful. Zao has some interesting kind of backgrounds and environments that you're traversing. The combat is very vanilla. And the characters and story are very kind of obvious. I don't have a problem with them, but it's very clear what it's doing very early on. So there's not a lot of surprise there that I have seen so far. I'm about halfway through, I would estimate. And most importantly, it's just slightly less good at basically everything that it tries to do than Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. And so since, based on the Ubisoft timeline, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown should be available to you at some huge discount right around now, would be my bet.
I think I saw it for $29 yesterday, actually.
Yeah, well, that's about the timeline for Ubisoft, right? I would say that Prince of Persia is pretty close to an all-timer on this type of game, and it's a little bit unfortunate for Zao. That is a very competent, not terribly exciting game, that it is up against that kind of pillar of Metroidvanias, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it's funny you say that, Hogue, because I'm like 99% in the same place. I've put a few hours into it, and I felt exactly the same. If you remember, I did review Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, and Prince of Persia: Lost Crown I will just prop up again. It is an incredible game, and it only gets better and better and better as you play through it. Whereas Zao, everything you just said, it's beautiful. A lot of the animations are very fluid and colorful. I like what it's going for. I've been pretty disappointed in the combat. The enemies are very lackluster, and vanilla is a good word you used. And the level design is definitely entry level Metroidvania so far. So I want to see. I'm going to continue with it to see if it's maybe just a slow. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's just a slow start and it eventually gets harder and more complex and kind of deeper. But right now I'm kind of it's good, but to your point, it's hard to come after Lost Crown in this almost exact type of vein when Lost Crown is so good.
Yeah, that's where I come out at it. It's just kind of unfortunate for it. It's not unfortunate for players because players are blessed with one of the best that I've played in Lost Crown. But I like a lot of what Zhao's doing. I really like the music. I really like the visuals.
Yeah.
The orange and the purple are really
It's gorgeous.
strong. But actually playing it is not as fulfilling as I would have hoped.
Yeah, as somebody who hasn't finished The Lost Crown, I certainly think I'm going to have to prioritize that first. But I will say Kenzera strikes me as a game that you play mostly for the story. And there's lots of indies like that, right? Where the gameplay will be good enough, but it seems like the story is trying to do something a little unique and more kind of personal. And I'm interested to see where that goes in a way where Lost Crown is sort of just like, action packed kind of junk food type thing, which I'm into, obviously. But
it was very wise for them to market Zhao that way. It definitely feels personal.
Yes.
It is not as unique as I had hoped there. I mean, like, to me, you see all that marketing, you see the stuff from the individual whose name escapes me.
I forget the gentleman's name. Yeah.
Leading the new studio. I think it's Salim. But it almost doesn't get enough into that. Like, the edges have been sanded off a little bit so that it is more kind of mass market approachable. And I find that that's kind of the unhappy place to be. It's neither as good as Prince of Persia in action or level design, and it's not as strong in story and narrative as I would hope for it to be to make up for that. So
I hear it gets better.
And that would be great. That would be great. I'm about halfway.
Okay.
I'm 2 deities in.
Nice. Yeah, Ibantis did like a full review of the game. We talked about it on Thursday, and he said that, like, especially the back half of the game, the story starts to get pretty backloaded, and he ended up liking it a fair bit. So, it's one of those games, kind of like Harold Halibut, where I'm doing the Indiana Jones leap of faith situation right now, and kind of just assuming that there's going to be some payoff here. So,
yeah, it's interesting. It's always a tough balance with these types of games because at least in my opinion, tell me if you guys disagree, but it's like you want to lead players into learning the abilities and ramping up the level design and the difficulty and everything else that goes along with a good Metroidvania. But you have to keep players interested enough to get to those higher moments later in the game. I think that's something Lost Crown did exceptionally well. And this one, and again, we say this all the time, but like these are my jam, right? Like 2D platforming, challenging games. For me, it's pretty. You had the perfect word, Ho, which is vanilla right now. It's just, the gameplay hasn't really struck me yet. I'm hoping it gets deeper. So I'm happy to hear it gets better later. It did review quite well. So I'm going to definitely stick with it. Yeah. And I bought it anyway, to your guys' point about the story. I bought it on Xbox just to support the developer and because I was so interested in it. Sorry, Dan.
I said I did not buy it. I played it for 2 hours and I bounced off of it. And I never played Prince of Persia. So I have no idea the comparison.
What are you doing over there?
Listen, you know when I played side-scrolling games in like 1989. That's when I played it. I don't need them now.
They're so good.
I don't need them now. Listen, every once in a while one comes out and it's great. Like, I loved Ori. I loved
you did like Ori.
Ori.
In all seriousness, Dan, if you love Ori and you haven't played Prince of Persia Lost Crown, you need to. Like,
I have no desire.
Well, I don't know.
I've never played a single Prince of Persia game in my life.
No, but
I have no desire.
It's Prince of Persia because the IP is useful to them. It's
I
not
also like side scrollers and Metrovanias. So
you just said you liked Ori.
I like
but Ori's a little different.
Very specific.
Yeah, it is. I'll give him this one because Prince of Persia, you're very much engaged with the combat. Ori, it's a game where you auto attack things when you go by it. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of a kind of a platformer because this has some
still a Metroidvania
timing and like the stuff Dan doesn't like.
You do have to parry a lot.
You have to parry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Dan would like Prince of Persia, to be honest. I think he might.
I know
be
I
onto something here.
There's a reason I never bought it.
I have trouble believing that anybody that likes video games, especially in the Metroidvania genre wouldn't like Lost Crown, especially at
Yeah,
what you say it's on sale now. Yeah,
$29, I think.
$29 for a side scroller? That's what I was paying.
Literally
in
the best game
1989.
I've played this year, Dan.
No.
Like, it's that good.
I'm gonna tell you
the
something.
best
I know.
game.
I think when we
pay
covered it when it
$30
came out,
and immediately regret it.
I said it's
That's what
about
would happen.
Super Metroid kind of level for me. So yeah,
It's the best
up
one
there
I've
with
played.
The best.
Will of the Wisps. I'll say that. I like it more than Metroid Dread. I said that. And Metroid Dread, I really like.
Wow, Metroid Dread's good.
Yeah, Metroid Dread is good, but I think Lost Crown's a better game overall.
I really like Dread as well. They got a
Come
little
on.
too crazy with their map for me,
Brilliant.
but I do like Dread a lot.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think Dread has a few things that hold it back. But anyway, yeah. So we'll talk more as we hopefully a few of us get through that, and we'll see if it picks up later on. So Hogue, you started that by.
I wound up a little disappointed with that, is what I wanted to say, because the other game that came out that day, Eiyuden Chronicle, and I think I've said this in prior episodes, but I always feel like disappointment or even happiness or contentment with a game or movie or anything else that you're enjoying has a lot to do with what you brought to the party before you started consuming whatever it is that you're playing or watching. And I was very excited about Zao. I was very excited about Eiyuden Chronicle. And unfortunately, Eiyuden Chronicle might wind up being one of my bigger disappointments of the year so far, because it's just not gelling with me at all. And it has some technical difficulties that make me want to not play it for 1 minute. And this is something that I didn't even know about myself, but apparently dead zones on controllers are an important part of getting interfacing with video games correct.
You can't adjust it?
No, there's no dead zone adjustment in the game, and it's just set to the most microscopic shift in your joystick will have the menus just start scrolling, and your guy will just run around however he likes. And I have no idea how that got through certification, let alone through publishing. So it's just terrible. And it makes you feel like it's garbage, like it's not. And you can kind of control it by moving the joystick around and just hoping the guy doesn't dash off on his own. But it makes it feel bad, even though there's a lot of content in there. And then you combine that with what I would describe as the tone of a 1980s Saturday morning cartoon. And it's just a lot of difficulty to get into for me. And this is said as someone that adores.
Wait, that's a negative for you?
Well, it's a negative. Yes. You have to be very careful, and careful is a good word. You have to be judicious in your use of Sailor Moon stand-ins.
You had to find a more multisyllabic word. That was his goal with all these things.
I did not. I had to find a more detailed word to help express my opinions. That's the purpose of language, is to communicate, Travis.
Yeah, and preferably in a way that only certain people will be able to understand.
I'm being lectured on elitism by the San Franciscanite.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Call me elite all you want, bro. At least I'm a why use a $10 word when a 5-cent word will do? Get kind of guy myself.
Anyway, Eiyuden Chronicles.
In an event, Eiyuden, and it's only one chronicle, I think. Yes.
Oh, I thought it was
Eiyuden Chronicle.
100 heroes. Yeah.
Oh.
The plural is in heroes.
Gotcha.
Is a little bit of a train wreck in terms of control. I've played it for about 7 hours now, but each time was a struggle to kind of want to play it, because it is just not as driving or as considered as I wanted it to be. It's like they wanted to throw in the notion of a bunch of different characters right from the start in a way that I don't recall the old Suikoden's doing. And it's just not kind of dedicated to setting up an interesting world or RPG before kind of going after this from a Kickstarter perspective. Give the people what they want, give it to them good and hard. But it's people, as Travis says,
I got that at my wall, actually. Same thing.
What's happening?
Right above my bed.
What did I just fall into?
I looked away for a split second to pull up the Eiyuden Chronicle. It is Eiyuden Chronicles. It's on that's what it says on OpenCritic anyway. Anyway, sorry, Hogue. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so I have a story about this game as well, which is I did not play it, but I did watch my fiance go through all of the emotions that Hogue just described while playing it, which is that she hopped on, she was very excited because she loves these sorts of games, this vibe of like, oh, I'm gonna go make 100 different NPC friends in this, JRPG game. And then she very quickly was like, I don't know, this kind of isn't for me. So I got to watch that, which was pretty funny.
It was the strangest thing for me. I've been looking forward to this forever. I really liked.
Yeah, you've been talking about this since last year.
The small version of it, I really liked Rising. I thought I would really love this one, and then I kept turning it on and almost immediately wanting to play something else. And that's not what you're looking for when you're making a video game.
Yeah, I thought this one, because I wasn't interested in this one, but I know you were, Hogue, like heavily. So I just pulled it up on OpenCritic. I didn't realize. I thought this had reviewed stronger, but it's in the mid 7s and only 60% recommend the game. So it definitely fell a little lower than I thought. That's
Honestly, I don't
sad
think
to
that's
hear
low
about
enough.
the controls.
I don't think it's low enough for what it is right now.
Okay.
I think you probably get a little more used to the control situation, but I still think that game seems to have other issues. Let's bring D in here. D, let's talk about this game. I don't know. But yeah,
Hi, D.
D, get in here. She actually offered to be on the show, and I was like, I feel like
welcome.
I said, I feel like that would turn into an interview of like, how did you end up this way? You know what I mean? How did you?
D, we gotta talk. How the hell did this happen?
Maybe after our wedding, she can be on the show. Just have her show.
What trauma has led you to being okay with?
Yeah, exactly. What happened? Why are you doing this?
Stop. I'm gonna wait till after I'm married to her. So I'm,
Yeah, Travis is like, please wait till we're married, and then we can do this.
Yeah. Well, once Ains meets her this year, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
D, come here for a second. I gotta ask you some questions.
A lot of shared dislike.
But I agree with your fiance, Travis. You listen to the score, you get the intro, you got all the cartoon anime people turning into digital pixels, and I want to say the pixel art in this game is fantastic.
It's really great. It's really good.
I love the pixel art in Eiyuden Chronicle.
Yeah.
But you get all rousing music and you're ready to go, and then like nothing happens and it's not very interesting, and almost all the battles are best handled with the auto button, which is always a bad sign. And there you go.
Yeah, I will say the art is especially cool though. Like you have like a sprite that's running around in like a way more detailed 3D world, and so it kind of feels like genre blending. It's very interesting. Interesting perspective.
That's a shame.
I think it might be one of those games that it's like a lot of JRPGs, you jump in and the first thing you see is like menu hell, and you're just like, dude, how the heck am I going to learn this? And then like 50 hours in, it feels natural. I feel like it might be one of those games that just has like a really harsh learning curve at the beginning. And that's probably why half of the people seem to be just like dropping off early. But yeah, I'm going to see. I'm hoping that she'll play more of it.
So interesting. That's a shame, Hogue. It's always it's never fun when you're so super hyped for a game and it just kind of falls flat, when you finally get it. So that sucks.
So that Tuesday was a little bit of a disappointing Tuesday because I was really excited about Zhao and Eiyuden, but they did not prove to be the games I played the most this week.
Yeah, I was hyped about Zhao as well, just because I love these types of games, and I ended up going back and playing. I don't know why. I don't know what's kind of spawned it, but I went back and started playing Rogue Legacy 2 again, which is a brilliant game. I actually reviewed, and I just felt like playing more of it, so I reinstalled that and started playing it. But yeah, it's not a good sign when the game you've been hyped for you play, and it just makes you want to go play something else. That's not a good thing. So, quick shout out again. Withering Rooms is another kind of horror game that came out. I just wanted to shout out real quick that we did a review of this week. So Ray did this review for us, and really, really enjoyed it. Kind of shocked him, and I didn't realize that this is a small indie game, but it's actually like very highly reviewed and regarded. In fact, Ray gave it a 9 for us. He said it really surprised him, and I looked at the Steam reviews; are like overwhelmingly positive.
Which game?
Withering Rooms. It's a 2D horror game. We have a video review of it that Ray did, and it looks a little clunky. You know what I mean? It's definitely low budget, but people apparently love it. And Ray said it really did things as you go through the game, which were just like fascinating. So
I'm
Just
sorry, Ains, are
something
you
that-
saying rooms like with doors or
Rooms.
rooms
Yes.
like Viking letters?
Doors,
Rooms.
rooms. Sorry,
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like we did
Yeah.
do a review of it. Interesting.
Yeah, so we had the review up. You can check it out, but I just wanted to shout it out because it's out there and definitely seems to be well regarded from the people who have played it. One of the comments we got on the review was, "Yes, this is my surprise game of the year." So it's not something I expected. I didn't even know about the game prior to Ray talking about it. So
I do like it when people can find good things in the games, because that means there's a chance I could.
Yeah. And then I also want to shout out, Alex is in our chat, but we did Alex did a review of the new side-scrolling Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, Mutants Mayhem. It's a try not to laugh.
Just to be clear about what this game is, it is made by Game Mill, the people that
Yep.
made Nerf Legends and the Avatar
G.I.
game
Joe.
last year that was a disaster, the King Kong game from last year. You guys, some of you will remember. However, it is a remake of an arcade game from 2017, so I feel like the damage is minimal. But what did Alex end up giving it? 6?
He gave it a 5.
Okay, yeah, that's not good.
So, which, you know, we've talked about this. We mainly review games we want to review, and therefore our scores are generally higher, right? So, he gave it a 5. He said you can beat it in like an hour to 90 minutes. There's almost no replayability. Some of the action's kind of poor. So he was pretty down on it. But you can check out his review if you want to. If you're just curious, he said, "Do not think that this is Shredder's Revenge or Cowabunga Collection. It is not up to that level." So,
Yeah, Ains, what's the lowest score you guys have given it, SG?
a 2.
Did you give it?
No, Steve did it was a mobile port of a game. I forget the name of it, but it's honestly, and you would love it, Travis, because Steve's funny. He used to be a comedian in real life too.
Yeah.
His review of that game is one of the funniest things I've ever read in game coverage. I'll find it and email it to you. It's comical. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What's the lowest score you've given?
I don't know. I'd have to go look. I don't remember. Probably because remember, again, I only review stuff I want to review. So I want to say maybe a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, that's pretty much how all sites do it, which is why people think like, oh, all games are scored too highly. It's like, no, we tend to just ignore the ones that we think are going to be pretty bad or that nobody cares about. So.
Yeah. So I want to touch on Fallout 76 because I know, Travis, you said, am I allowed to talk?
Yeah, you're allowed to. Yeah,
okay. You
Game's
said
been
that
out
you're doing
since 2018, so yeah.
I didn't know if but you're doing a re-review of this, which is very cool. And I've been playing it quite a bit too. I'll say my quick piece on it because I talked about this a little bit. I played it for a few more hours this week. And as I told you guys in DMs, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's good to see the resurgence of this game. It is a vastly different game from when it launched, obviously 5-6 years ago now. And what I will say, like, in terms of story, I'm not really tied in, but what I really appreciate that it does well is, like I said before, it's this massive, massive world. And if you enjoy just kind of the Fallout vibe and exploration and just charting your own path type of play, where you just go do what you want, discover unique and interesting things. And the thing I really like about this game too is the breadcrumb trail that it does with a lot of its kind of miscellaneous or randomized quests that pop up. For instance, yesterday I found something popped up as a side quest of miscellaneous. I followed it, went to a building. Turned out to be like an 1.5 hour long quest about like this corporation that was covering up, you know, nuclear waste and all this stuff in the past prior to the thing. And it was just really interesting. And I just have a really good time. It's like it's become my game to just go veg out in. You know what I mean? I just explore the world. And then, as I think we were talking last week or 2 weeks ago, I was telling Dan about the PvP aspect concerned me when I started playing it again. But I've had a really good experience. I've never had to deal with PvP. Yeah, it's opt-in PvP, if you're worried about that. And like I was actually playing last night, and I was in the final room of this quest, and I hear footsteps, and I turn around. There's a dude right behind me, like a real guy. And I just waved to him. He waved back, and then I turn around, and he dropped like 6 weapons. You know, just dropped them sitting there for me, like stuff for me to pick up and do what I want with. And then he said bye and took off. And I'm like, all right, hello, Mr. Santa Claus. That was cool.
I've not had any of those, but everybody I've talked to has been like, oh yeah, there's like this level 1000 guy who came up to me, gave me all the stuff. Nobody has done that to me. However, I did have a level 3000 player launch a nuclear bomb at my base and completely flatten the entire area. So that was pretty fun. Where to begin? I reviewed this game in 2018. I gave it a 4 out of 10. Worst Virginia. We talked about that last week. The game is first of all, it's very funny to go back to a game you haven't played since 2018 and like look what was going on and with you at that time. Like I booted up the game and my character looks exactly like Gus Fring from Breaking Bad. So apparently that's what I was up to in 2018. Like literally identical. Like I made him look like Gus Fring. So I'm playing Fallout 76 as Gus Fring in 2024, Year of Our Lord. A very bizarre set of circumstances. But it is very fun. The game is very different to to Ains's point. I've been playing it with friends largely, so I haven't been doing. It sounds like Ains, you've been on kind of like a solo adventure. I've just been hanging out with buds.
Yeah, you guys are playing on Xbox, and there is no cross-play if you're wondering, which kind
weird,
of sucks.
Which is very weird. But yeah, it is a thing. Hopefully the renewed popularity of the game will get them to add crossplay because that seems like a no-brainer to me.
I don't think they're set up to. ESO is the same way.
Yeah, it is.
And I know they're different companies, but they're also not. So I
there's
mean,
got to be a
that's
reason.
just the way they set up their
structure.
It is a little weird.
What would you say, Dan?
He said it just works.
Just works.
Oh,
just works.
He's been a Todd hater.
The Todd hater.
So I will say that the main story is pretty much the same as when I reviewed it. It's weird how much I'm like it's coming back to me and I'm like remembering the different beats of the story. But they did add NPCs that you actually interact with. However, at least in this initial story, there's not that many. There's not as many as you'd think. You kind of are mostly hearing people talk to you through the radio and looking at documents that you're finding in the aftermath of the destruction, which is kind of how I remember it before. However, the game is a lot better. Like the leveling up system is like they let you auto level to level 20 when you make a new character. They give you better loot. The card and perk system is completely new from what the version I played, and it's a pretty cool system. And I just got to the end of the main story last night, which is as far as the game went when I was playing it back in the day. A lot of like busy work, fetch quest stuff. But I'm really excited to get into the new content, go to on expeditions and check out what's going on in Atlanta.
Atlantic City, you mean?
Atlantic City, yeah sorry. Not Atlanta. Atlantic City. So I'm gonna start seeing some of the new stuff. It sounds like pretty soon, and I've already seen a little bit of new stuff. Like there's new NPCs that weren't there last time and stuff like that. So it should be a good time. One thing I really appreciate is the radio is synced up with the server. So if you're listening to a radio station and somebody else is listening to it, you guys hear the exact same beats, which means you can sing along to the songs with your boys. If you have never done a sing along to old school music with your boys, you really, you haven't lived,
Not sure it's even old school. It's like before the school.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the oldest song we had in the game is like 1910 or something. Like it's like on a Zonophone or whatever those things were called, those recording
I don't know,
devices.
but suddenly I don't miss crossplay so much. I think it's probably good they separated.
You don't want to sing with your boys? Come on, live a little.
Nobody wants to hear me sing.
Ains, you strike me as a man who's never skipped before, and I don't want to live that way.
Crawl out through the fallout with Travis.
Crawl out through the fallout with me, my boys. Let's do it. So yeah, dude.
Yeah, but it's
been pretty fun, man.
Yeah, it's good. I think I've been surprised at how many, and I kind of mentioned this, but I've been surprised at how many random things kind of happen around you. You know what I mean? Not like that unfolds in real time, like with enemies and stuff, but just like if you're in the right place at the right time, you can hear a radio station and a quest will pop up, right? Or you can pick up a piece of paper that leads you somewhere else. And I like that kind of what's the word I'm looking for here, guys? Like that storytelling word.
Storytelling?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Where it just kind of pops up and you don't expect it and you're not just following to a marker, right? I hate just go here, go here, go here, go here type stuff.
I'm doing a lot of that so far. So
there is that too, but I like that there's a lot of more randomized
they do
stuff.
Constantly distract you with like side quests and like stuff popping up and events and activities to do, which is pretty interesting. I'm starting to hit like the part where like I'm at my maximum stash limit and I'm trying to figure out what to keep, and I'm wondering if there's a way to increase your space, and I'm like, oh no, I'm getting like anxiety about like RPG loot, because it's never a problem in other Fallout games, but this one you do seem to have like a finite amount of space. So I'm wondering how they're going to respond to that. So didn't realize my stash had a maximum capacity until I hit it, and then I went, oh,
I didn't either. So thank you for telling me.
I've been keeping all this garbage, and it's honestly, it's pretty limited. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to throw some stuff away.
Yeah, someone said Fallout first, which I guess is probably the paid answer to your problem.
Yeah, well, no, because I'm doing the trial for Fallout first right now. They gave me a month for free, and I don't have like a lot of. Is there an option to get extra storage? Really?
I have no idea.
The stash seems to be just shared.
I
across
honestly think
every
popping into
container.
76, their multiple monetization streams has created a fairly confusing onboard now.
I mean, that's true of pretty much every MMO. I think ESO is the same way. Like you log on and you're just like, man, there's a whole lot of crap they've added since last time, and I don't really know how any of it. Like the season pass is like unpaid, but then you can buy it to get progression, and it seems to be kind of a passive thing that you're leveling up. And then there's just a lot. It does seem like Fallout first is unlimited.
So Nikki said unlimited scrap and ammo stash.
He said scarp. Okay,
I know.
Read correctly.
It's benefit of the
doubt. Yeah. Honestly, I would not be surprised if the Fallout 76 community just took to calling scrap scarp for just flavor reasons. But yeah, okay, that's good to know. So I should apparently have unlimited scrap and ammo stash. Good to know. Separate containers, I guess. I did build those containers. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Nikki Bailu on the side. Nikki, slide into those DMs. Tell me what's going on with the scarp.
Give me the scarp details.
Give me them scarp details, baby girl. So yeah. Cool. Yeah. But I'm having fun so far. I probably put like 15 hours into it, and I'm almost max level, or the soft cap. You can level up infinitely, but I'm almost level 50. So I'm going to start working on like perk builds and stuff like that.
Did you, when you got back in, did you do the 20 thing?
I didn't have to, because my character was already level 30. I
was going to say, like, how the hell did you get to 50 in 15 hours? Okay.
So what actually, so now you're going to really judge me. So I was already level 30, and I went and got to like, I think level 48 with that character. And then I realized, you know what, I actually do want to go back and play the story to see what changed. And that character is level 45. So yeah, I have played too much. That said, you do get to auto level to 20 when you start a new character,
if you want to, because I did that.
Yeah, I did that. So that
your
definitely gives you a boost. And they also give you like good equipment, like really good. Like I'm still using the Western revolver they gave me at the beginning.
I would hate that.
Yeah,
part of that game is finding new stuff. I don't want.
That's me. I started completely blank. Like
100%, and you do find new stuff. But if you're trying to not worry about like your equipment constantly breaking and like not having the right ammo to match the guns, there's like a lot of like Jenga-ing to do with your inventory to make sure you have the ammo to feed the guns, and that when one breaks, you're gonna have a backup, or if you run out of ammo in one. And especially with I'm playing a character that has 1 strength, so my carry capacity is the lowest it possibly could be. It's not really feasible. Yeah, I have 1 strength and 1 endurance, so just like in real life, to be honest.
You're a sickly Victorian child in the wasteland.
Yeah, I'm max int, charisma, intelligence, and agility.
What is the max rank for each individual trait?
I don't know if they have a max rank. Basically, the way it works is you can equip more perks the more points you have, and then you stop earning points at level 50. So you basically just have to choose how many you want to get. Okay, so Nikki Bailu,
thank you, Nikki,
as I've come to call her, Bailu says that it's 15 in each. So
you're saying her, but I think it's a dude.
That's okay. I'm calling her. It's to me,
could be either.
It's
could be either. 15. Okay. Yeah. Cause I'm like you. I put 1 into strength. I'm a 2 strength, but I'm primarily focused on like intelligence and charisma.
Yeah.
Kind of down that trait.
So playing outside yourself.
Why?
Hey, I'm living vicariously through the game, man. Come on.
Yeah, you're playing as me.
Yeah.
Like, you're cosplaying as Travis in your game. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
It's too funny.
I'm
But
glad
yeah,
you guys are having fun with it.
it's very cool. It's a fun game.
It is fun. It's one of those I don't have to think a lot about. It plays in. I've said many times the type of RPGs I like are where I can go do my own thing and leave me the hell alone. And I think it's set up to do that really well nowadays. Which is nice.
I mean, I've spoken about my love of VSO before. I don't like Fallout 76 as much, but that's primarily because I don't like the Fallout world as much.
Yeah,
I don't like this kind of
Those people
50s retrofuturism weirdness. It has not gelled with me as much as I would hope. But like everybody else, after watching the Amazon show, I downloaded Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. And that, of course, led me to playing Starfield all week. Because I was playing Fallout 76 and I'm looking at this, and because the menus are kind of, you can see how they got to Starfield from 76. It was reminding me of my experience with Starfield. And I said, I have not played enough of that. There's so much content in there that I know I haven't seen. I should go play that. And so I wound up playing Starfield off of Fallout on Amazon for 25 hours this week and had a great time. And got a heavily viewed tweet of people yelling at me because I was really enjoying Starfield more than Fallout.
No.
And I was trying Fallout 4 because of the next gen upgrade, which as best I can tell did nothing. And I put out a tweet that said, my current working theory is that Starfield is optimistic and forward looking in a way that doesn't match the present cultural zeitgeist, while Fallout is cynical and backwards looking in a way that does. I expect Starfield to be better received when culture again cycles around. And I mean that sincerely, right? You look at Starfield and it's essentially a Star Trek analog with a view of the future where mankind survives the destruction of the Earth by living out in the stars and exploring and going and doing things for the betterment of humanity. Yes, you've got things that are bad. You've got drama elements, just like you do in Star Trek. But thank you, Travis.
Our close match for once. So I actually I can fully give it a
sorry for folks that are just listening. Travis is once again doing his when I put my right arm out, he's pretending to scratch his head because that's the way the video looks. But I mean that sincerely because Starfield does have that kind of more optimistic look, and Fallout, especially if you're coming off the Amazon show, is very backwards looking, very much focused on what came before, and is more cynical in how that came to become the wasteland in of itself. And so I understand why people can look at Starfield and say, oh, that's boring or vapid, or I don't like it because it doesn't match certain beats in the culture right now. And I equate that with Star Trek because Star Trek did not become super popular in the 60s, right? The 60s is an era of tumult in the United States. Star Trek comes out in the 60s, doesn't become hugely popular really until the 80s, when you have more optimism about the future. And I view Starfield in the same way, that Starfield is not a good match for what people are looking for right now. But I enjoy it more because I'm a more optimistic person by heart.
So I will certainly grant you that the zeitgeist favors the cynical and the dark and the seedy and all that stuff. I will say I think you're dead wrong when it comes to why people like Fallout more than Starfield. I think Starfield has problems that have nothing to do with its optimism, that are like genuine gameplay, fun concerns with that game that I think is the reason that it is less popular. It's also had less time to grow as a franchise. Like Fallout has a ton of games and some people really love this game or that game in the universe. So maybe it's too early to tell if Starfield will get that time, but I will say
I ton of issues, by the way. I just think they're exactly the same as Fallout's.
No, I couldn't disagree more. That Starfield has problems that I think are completely unrelated to whether it's optimistic or pessimistic. And I say this as a guy who I like optimistic games. I like games that are less cynical. That's why I really jived with Another Crab's Treasure, for example, which has sort of the same very different tone from what you're used to in those games.
Another
But
Crab's Treasure is brightly colored, but it has a lot of cynicism. It's about, I mean, it starts off with jokes about taxes and possession.
I mean, it's a comedy. It's a comedy, but it has a different. I would say that game is more optimistic, and once you get into it, it's got like a lot of like heartwarming camaraderie type of stuff, which you probably wouldn't see in a Fallout game. Certainly not in another Souls-like where it's all just doom and gloom. But I do tend on like, I like optimistic stuff. That's why I like Star Wars. That's why I like, certain other franchises. Fast and Furious, extremely optimistic to the point of lunacy. So yeah, I do tend to like those sorts of things, but I think Starfield is an outlier for reasons that have nothing to do with that. And this is somebody who's played the game for 200 hours. I feel the need to remind everybody. I played this game way too much. Yeah.
Can it be both?
Sure. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little column B, but I don't think that's why a lot of people rejected it.
I don't know why your tweet went so nuts, Oak. You have a way with tapping into people's I don't know what I'm looking for here, but you definitely have a way with some of your commentary, people who take you way too seriously at times. Also, I completely agree with all the comments you got that you don't know anything about video games. So
yeah, me too.
You like that one?
I agree on that one.
Like that? Clearly, this person has no knowledge of video games. Tweet. It's like, well, yes,
it's
known for.
It's really why we have you on the show. I mean, that was the discussion prior to asking you to come on. It was
you had to know this tweet was going to blow up, right? And you tweeted.
I didn't have any idea. I had no idea anybody would be interested.
When you say hot takes like that, that.
Why is that a hot take? I even framed it as my current working theory. I was trying to articulate why Starfield was working better for me than Fallout.
Okay.
It was literally just me tweeting out a thought.
Would you continue to tweet out your thoughts that you knew were going to bother the world if every time you did it, you knew that a plane was going to go down over the Atlantic?
Of course not.
You wouldn't do it?
What?
Okay. I'm just wondering.
Why would I kill innocent people with my tweets? I would not.
Well, nobody knows it was you. It's just like a coincidence to everybody else in the world. You know what I mean?
You framed it as if I know it's me. I'm not.
You know it's you. You know it's you. Yeah. Okay. I just want to know where the line is.
Travis is trying to get our show flagged.
The line is I will not tweet if it kills people, Travis.
Okay. Good to know. That's good to know. Well, you don't know if they
Can
die.
I pick the people?
The plane goes down.
Never mind.
Can I pick the people? Can I pick the plane?
Like never mind. I was gonna take that way too dark. Never mind. No, we'll move on.
I love that we saw the line.
You got me there for a second.
Nikki, DM me what he was going to say. Nikki, if you could do that.
Bailu. Yeah, Nicole says the people in those replies saying Hogue knew nothing about games gave me a good laugh. Yeah, that's always classic. Oh, by the way, shout out to this great comment of either Cello or Cielo. Bet if Prince of Persia offered Dan strawberry milk, he'd be in. What do you think?
Who
Dan?
wouldn't be? If my video game started giving me strawberry milk, yeah.
I've been saving that one.
No.
Would that have brought the game up to a 10, Ains?
At least 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. All right, so shout out to everyone hanging out with us, to 250 so people. Appreciate you. A quick shout out, just if you're enjoying the conversation, as always, we'll remind you to like, share it out. For whatever reason, I think we've mentioned this briefly the past couple episodes. The YouTube algorithm is a disaster right now. I don't know what's going on with it.
True.
The channel, like the analytics on the SG channel, are so odd right now. From what I've seen for years, and we're not alone. I know I've talked to a bunch of creators. I mentioned this, so. If you're enjoying it, just a reminder to really like and share it out. It helps because, well, it might help. I don't know. I'll, we can ask Google, but you won't get an answer. So it's very odd.
You can ask Google. I didn't even know that was an option.
You can ask. Yeah. YouTube has support. It's Google, right? You can ask.
If you're a big enough channel, you can ask YouTube whatever you want.
That's impressive.
True.
Because I've never seen a Google product that had a support.
I have friends with much larger channels than mine that can get YouTube on the phone as soon as you need them.
Wow. So all you have to do is become you have to get like 1 million followers and then you get basic customer support on any Google product.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Right. It's about
try
right.
to get them to answer your questions on Google Drive or, any other product they own. It's kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, even using their admin console is a nightmare. Like it's
Yeah,
the most
dude.
confusing setup of anything I've ever worked with.
You still have to. I'm still pretty sure you have to download a Chrome extension to get you to be able to do Command C and Command V on Google Docs. You know, like I can't get. I've been trying to get Google to add a word count by default on all docs to
How
Google
dare you?
Docs for
How
like 10
dare
years.
you?
For 10 years. I just want them to be able to. I want to be able to say add word count to the bottom left-hand corner by default. Guys, this isn't a gaming podcast anymore. Google just we're
Just
done.
start ranting about
It's
Google.
just me just griping about things that annoy me with
You know
Google
what
products.
you know what the algorithm really loves? Griping about Google.
Yeah, great.
Let's do
We're
it.
not getting any views on this post-launch. Appreciate it. Let's jump over. Unless there are any other games you want to shout out before we get on to the upcoming games.
Well, I did have one.
No rest for the
I
wicked.
think we should talk
We're
about
gonna talk
Stellar
about
Blade.
Oh yeah, sorry. So we'll get to No Rest of the Wicked after this. Yes,
Okay.
please comment on Stellar Blade, Hogue. I believe you're the only one on the panel playing it. So go ahead.
Yeah, so this is a Sony published game, not made by Sony, but published by them, that has gotten a certain amount of internet discussion had about it because you play as a fairly pretty robot lass who's fighting aliens on a destroyed Earth. And if that sounds
It's never
familiar
happened
to
in
you,
games before.
if that sounds familiar to you, you have in fact played Nier Automata. But Stellar Blade is a technical combat focused game that has certain things in common with Souls games, but other things that are not in common with them. They don't have a double death kind of mechanism. They don't really have a campsite mechanism. They have certain aspects of it where you have the 3 heals and things like that. But it's not as hard as a Souls game, and it's very, very pretty. The graphics are very nice. It just kind of, as Dan said, just works. And the reason it's gotten so much publicity, I think, is primarily because Sony isn't releasing many games this year, but also because it has a very comely lass as its main character. And she has ample assets in various places, and people have had a lot of commentary on this. But as we've said when we talked about the demo on this show, I actually think it plays as much as a kind of dress-up doll game that will appeal to females in the audience as much as males. And I really don't see why there's so much controversy about this specific title when the history of games has so many games like it. But overall, it's a good game. I think
there's
that gets
much controversy, frankly.
What, Travis?
I don't think there's that much controversy. I think it's like a very small pocket of people on the internet, but like the game reviewed like what I would expect it to review at. It got a lot of 7s, which based on what I played of the demo seems right. And I think the only people who are upset are the people who are looking for reasons to be upset. But I think the controversy is pretty overblown. Like to me, it was like a non-controversial game. It was just like an okay game.
That's actually, I think, kind of the mantra of the internet.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
It's a little higher than that, Travis. So it's an 82 right now on OpenCritic.
Yeah, and I would have had it as like an 85 or 86. But it's a gorgeous looking game. The combat is quick and responsive. I think it's even better than it was in the demo. And it's got a lot of good exploration. And right now it doesn't have much of a plot where I'm at. And it might not ever. But
the story's pretty much nonsense.
As I said in the pre-show, in the trailers, you could tell this was a game that had 2 main characters named Adam and Eve. And that always puts me in a certain place in my head as to what kind of storytelling we're going to get. So I was never expecting much from this on a storytelling side of things. And I think it's more engaging to me as a Souls-ish game than Another Crab's Treasure was this week for me. Like, I think Crab is going to last longer. I think I'm going to play that one for a longer time. But Stellar Blade was what I was more interested in playing this week. I like the Nier vibes. It's got that kind of light music. A lot of the fights wind up feeling like music videos because of the way it interacts with the music and the combat. And that was what I was more interested in this week. But I think it's a very good game and people should give it a try. And don't get caught up by internet people saying that there's too much or too little skin shown. She's a robot girl made of 1s and 0s, people.
No, there's too much and too little skin shown. I've always said that. That's my pinned tweet on Twitter. It's this just at the top of my profile at all times. No, I mean, yeah, I will probably skip this one just because I hear that it has no story and the gameplay seems like it's probably middle of the road for Souls-likes in terms of, not the worst, but not the best from what I've seen so far. But yeah, I think the whole controversy thing is pretty stupid.
Yes.
People should just seems like a 7 out of 10 to me, which is good. If you like that game, just play that game. That's what I say.
I'd have it at more like an 8, but I would not object to a 7.
Yeah, I mean, an 8 seems to be where the majority of people have landed based on the Metacritic score. So it's not all me. I play another Crab's Treasure. It's better. Definitely, it's better story.
You literally have not played this other game. How can you say it's better, Travis? IGN, man.
Yeah, I have played it. I played the demo.
You haven't played the game.
That's the game. That's part of the game. What do you think a demo is?
I think a demo is a separate application designed to encourage you to purchase the game.
And if it didn't encourage me, then I don't know.
You don't have to play it. You just can't say things like this other game is better.
Sure I can.
Okay.
Watch
It's up
me.
to you, man.
I played the demo and it didn't draw me in, and the story is apparently a big waste of time. Something that you can apparently tell based off of the story trailer or whatever it is you're referencing. So just not enough for me.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
I wasn't super interested in this one. I don't know if I'll play it. There's just too many games right now, but I know Alex is playing it. He's generally enjoying it. We didn't review this one actually either. And the controversy is just ridiculous. So we'll move on from that. Speaking of Souls-likes, one thing I did want to mention, I did go back briefly to Lords of the Fallen this week, which got its last major update. I honestly forget what the hell it's called right now. But if you were waiting to get into Lords of the Fallen, it's had a lot of updates post-launch. It's in pretty good shape right now. And the update that they launched this week not only continued to fix a lot of bugs and stuff that have lingered, but it added some really unique things. So after you beat the game, you can now do New Game Plus, but with specific options. So you can do like a hardcore mode. Most intriguing to me, you can do a randomized loot mode, which is something I've always wanted in From games. I don't know why From hasn't done this yet, where you can find wherever you would find loot off of enemies or in chests, it'll be completely randomized. So you could beat a boss and get an absolute piece of garbage, or you could open a random chest on a level and get, the best weapon in the game. Completely random, and just kind of, gives you more ways to kind of engage with the game. So I think that's pretty cool. If you're waiting to play it, all that's out now. It came out as a free update that came out this week. It's version 1.5, so you can check that out.
You never beat the game, right?
Ains, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Travis apparently chatting. Yeah, it has sexy crab outfits, bro.
Yeah. Well, somebody was asking, does it have sexy outfits like Stellar Blade? They're talking about another Chris Trevor, and it does. You can be a maid. You can also, if you're like me, you can wear the Mr. Krabs outfit from SpongeBob. Just be Mr. Krabs. It's pretty. I mean, guys, it's a good game. Be sexy.
Okay. All right. Show off your crab legs.
You can not only show off some leg. You show off 8 legs. Do they have 8 legs? Am I wrong?
I don't think so.
6?
No, I think it's is it 6, 8, 6 with 2 claws.
Crabs have more than 4 legs. I know that.
All I know is that the hermit crab in the game does a Naruto run when you hit sprint.
It does, yeah. Oh my god, so good.
Oh man. All right. So I think what I really want to talk about this episode is kind of like I said at the top of the show, is that we are a third of the way through the year. We've got a whole bunch of games still to come in 2024, and a whole bunch of games that we've gotten updates on, or we've gotten tentative release dates of 2024, but still don't really know where these games are. So I kind of went through and kind of pulled up the ones that we have definitive release dates for. Of course, they can still slip, along with a whole bunch of other games that we know are coming sometime soon, but don't actually have dates and where you can probably find them next. So I figured we would do some running through that. So let's start.
Completely didn't talk about No Rest for the Wicked, but let's go on.
Yeah. No Rest for the Wicked. It's out. Check it out.
Game.
I'm glad you mentioned that though, because like I said at the top of the show, we are doing a giveaway. So No Rest for the Wicked, We talked about it a lot last week. Travis, you want to quickly touch on your review because you did publish your review of the early access mode.
Yeah, I'll do it real quick. It's in early access. It's an unfinished game. The story is pretty short in terms of what's actually in the game right now, but they do have a surprising amount of content. I really like the combat. I think the half of the people I've talked to said that they didn't really jive with the combat, but it really connected with me. I think the loot game is really cool. It does have problems. It's got performance issues, even after some of the patches. It's got inventory management problems where you're spending a little bit too much time juggling inventory and going back to old areas to craft more healing items that you need for boss fights or whatever. So it's certainly not without issues, but overwhelmingly really cool, unique game, great art style and voice performances. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm looking forward to see how it develops, and hopefully we'll re-review it down the road so I can play more of this game.
Cool. Yeah, well said. I think we are in general agreement on this game. Like I said, we talked a lot more about it last week. I played a little more this week, but I'm at the point now where it's like other games have kind of taken over. I got so addicted to that game for like a week. I was playing it nonstop, and now I'm back. Like you said, I think once they flesh it out more and add more to it and expand it, it'll be a game I put a lot of time into.
Also, I wasn't that far off with the crabs. They have 8 legs and 2 pincers, so 10.
Yeah, it's 10 total.
Appendages. That's pretty close. So
our chat was on the ball.
Yeah,
I want to shout out Moon Studios too. They've done 6 hot fixes in 1 week, which
crazy.
Is insane. Basically, people were asking, do they sleep? And they were joking, of course, like what sleep? So they're definitely on the board with the support for that game and sticking to it. And they've talked a lot this week around they have a long-term vision for this game, and they will just keep plugging away until they reach it. So I think it's when it's all said and done, and we look back on the finished No Rest for the Wicked, I think it's going to really stand tall in the in the genre. It's awesome. With that said, we are going to give away a copy. So just a reminder, this is an early access game. It's only on Steam. It is a challenging ARPG. We gave the details last week, but we've got a copy to give away. So anyone in our chats on both sides of the house who wants a copy of this game and can play it on Steam, like we said, I don't know what to do here. Just type Wicked in the chat, hashtag Wicked, and we'll pick someone out to win.
Tell us the most wicked thing you've done.
Don't do that. Or you could do that too if you want.
Come on, that's fun.
But do hashtag Wicked, and we'll pick a winner here shortly as we continue to talk about games. So
give us some lyrics of your favorite song in Wicked, whatever.
Oh, that'd be good. That's a good one. sing some Wicked for us.
Mm-hmm. By the way, once I pick the winner, we'll just DM on Twitter afterwards. So keeping an eye on you. All right. So games coming 2024. These are the ones that, again, keep in mind, we can't cover all the games coming. There's going to be ones that we don't talk about. Here's the ones that I
didn't have Balatro on any lists.
Right.
You did?
Yeah. Balatro. Shout out to Balatro. What an amazing game. All right. So coming up soon here, we've actually got Hellblade 2. It is finally releasing. So basically about 3 weeks from now, May 21st. I am reviewing that for SG. So we'll, you can stay tuned for my thoughts on that one. And then the same day, just a reminder, we get the System Shock remake on console. So, it was early access on PC for a while, but the console version comes out that same day as Hellblade 2.
Was my best remake last year. I think
I've heard it's great. Yeah, I can't wait for it. Cool.
Really cool.
And guys, I'm going to run through these, but obviously just add commentary as you see fit here. 2 days later. Wait till I finish my sentence. In between,
he said I can interrupt. He said I can interrupt. It's my time to shine.
Yeah, would be appreciated.
For you to talk, to ask if you could interrupt.
I know. He's good at that.
Should we raise our hands?
Tide, no, you can do it on the Hogue side as well. Yeah, so either of the channels, just hashtag Wicked. I'm keeping an eye on all of them, and I'll pick someone out. Paper Mario, actually, the new Paper Mario for the Switch, the 1,000-Year Door, comes out May 23rd.
New Paper Mario. Yes.
Yeah, the old new. Comes out 2 days after Hellblade 2 on May 23rd, so that's not far off now, which is cool. Shout out to Destiny. The Final Shape is coming. Obviously, Travis is all over this one. This comes June 4th, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about that. From everything you've said,
Travis had convinced me.
I was mid-sentence, Hogue. I was mid-sentence.
He said chime in with commentary, but he didn't want what he asked for. This is what
Travis.
I said,
Travis
wait
has
till I'm
spent
finished
all
my
last year
sentence.
convincing me to not be excited for this, and I'm having trouble changing tack now that everybody's excited for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think previously I was cautiously pessimistic about about this game. So it does seem like they're showing signs of life. Maybe this might be the big one that we've been waiting for. So I'm really hopeful. But yeah.
Okay.
Destiny.
Yeah, I was going to say that, all the guys I talked to, like Cog, like Abantas, you guys who cover Destiny a lot, all seem to be excited, which is
Well, they're
rare from what
simps.
I've seen.
Don't believe them. They're simps. But yeah, I can confirm that the stuff we've seen so far does give reason for optimism, which previously I would not have said. So
Fair. So that's June 4th. I want to shout out that same day. I got to shout this out. Killer Clowns from Outer Space comes out the same day. Shout out to Miles Dampier, who's been on this channel many times. If you didn't know, he is now the community manager over at Ilphonic. So he's working on helping launch that game. And
I would be amazed if they didn't give me that game to review. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It does seem like you, Travis.
Yeah.
You could have waited till I finished my sentence to say that. That did not need an interruption.
I think
we don't know when you're going to go on to your next topic. Aiden.
Yeah, you're going too quick, man. This is not, there's no pauses.
I figured it would be my fault. This is true.
And here's the thing. Interruptions are a natural and not rude part of conversation. And the problem with people who don't like interruptions is that the people who are the worst.
So anyway, what I was saying is that Miles Ilphonic is see, it sucks, doesn't it?
I respect
no,
that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Miles,
because I'm normal. Because I'm normal. Interruptions are fine.
Miles, shout out to you. I hope you're having a great time with this game. Yeah, it'd be cool if you actually review that, because you reviewed Texas Chainsaw, did you not? Am I forgetting?
I did. Yeah.
Yes.
Is that another? Is that another not asymmetric? Asymmetric.
It is
word,
asymmetric.
Right?
Asymmetric.
Is that another multiplayer asymmetric horror game thing?
Yep.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know the exact structure of the gameplay, to your point, but it is in that kind of vein, and it is Ilphonic. It's that group. So, yep. And speaking of which, we'll probably get a copy too for Zach to review, because Zach reviews all our horror games as well. So you guys may be playing that one together, Travis, which would be cool.
We played Texas Chainsaw together as well. So
and Outlast.
Well, he didn't make it on this most recent batch, but last year we played it together.
Yeah. Of course, the only thing that matters this year comes out on June 21st, which is Shadow of the Erd Tree, the expansion for Elden Ring. So more than 2 years after the launch of Elden Ring. So this one's expected to be huge, of course.
That's pretty surprising, because I haven't stopped hearing about it since Elden Ring came out.
It feels like it just came out,
right? Because there's so much conversation around the game. It feels like it just came out.
Ains, I'm not saying that those aren't big games, but do we really only have 4 games on your list through the end of June?
Yeah, I mean, Hogue, if you're trying to go into the weeds on everything that's coming out every month of this year, it's gonna be a very long show.
Yeah, especially Hogue's Notes type games. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go to Hogue's Notes type games. I'm really just I'm looking for other things than the games that you have selected. I'm looking forward to Paper Mario, but that's the only thing out of those first 4.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm talking here, pull up like 2024 release schedule and see if anything prior to June jumps out. Remember, June's a month away, so I mean, if there was some huge release coming in the next couple of weeks, you'd probably already be anticipating it.
I think there's another ESO expansion as well in June. They usually do one in June. What is it?
Yeah, Hogue should be all over that. I forget what it's called. It is coming.
Gold Coast, yeah.
No, Gold Coast came out last time. I think this one is the one where you go to the world of the what's that guy's name? Hermaeus Mora. Hermaeus Mora's pocket dimension.
Oh yeah, we're going to some Daedric Princes, are we?
Yeah.
Gold Road. Gold Road comes out in 2024.
Wait, what's the one I'm thinking of though? Didn't they announce
That's one you're thinking of?
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a Hermaeus Mora one. Okay, cool. Yeah. That one should be fun. You guys remember we went there at the Skyrim DLC? I think it was the last one where you go to that pocket reality. It's all the forbidden knowledge with the portals and. You guys
in ESO?
No, in Skyrim. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the final expansion.
I don't know if I did that
Just
one.
me, guys.
Yeah,
Just
I
me
don't know
on
if I
the
did that one,
account.
honestly.
Yeah, that was a fun expansion.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Shadow of the Earth Tree. One I'm really excited for, assuming it plays as well as it looks, is Black Myth Wukong, which is scheduled currently for August 20th. So we'll see. That is a reminder. That's kind of that Chinese developer that is playing on what's the classic tale? Damn it. Blanking this morning.
Journey into the West.
Yes, Journey to the West. Thank you. Yes. So it looks, very kind of fantastical with giant creatures and all sorts of crazy battles. So I hope it plays as good as it looks. Like I said, it looks incredible. So
why are game developers obsessed with crabs?
Why not, dude? Crabs are sick. Have you ever seen a crab, dude? Have you seen how cool crabs are? Dude, there's crabs across the street from my house because there's this Chinese market. And people fight over these crabs, dude. Like, have you ever seen a group of like Asian people like fighting over crabs on a Sunday morning? They're like pushing each other the way, and they all have a specific crab in the tank that they want.
I'm not commenting on this segment of the show. Travis,
guys,
please go on.
It sounded like it could be racist, but I'm not sure that it was.
It sounds like a Sunday in San Francisco. What are you talking about?
This is what I see every morning. Every morning I go outside for my morning jog, and I see Asian people fighting over which crab they want from the tank. It's a fierce competition, and it's fun for me to watch. That's all I'm saying. It's just fun. It's fun. It's a good time to see who gets the prized crab.
Okay, so I think the things that are jumping out to me are V Rising and Homeworld 3. But the reason I was even having this conversation to begin with is that there's apparently a game called Crab God coming out. And I'm just like, come on. What's with the crabs?
Yes.
Rob,
you got me so off track here.
Oh, sorry.
V Rising, yes. And V Rising also has a Castlevania kind of addition that they're playing into as well, which looks pretty cool. So
V Rising looks great.
Yeah. Someone asked about Hollow Knight Silk Song. Of course, yes, we're getting there. I said, so we're starting with the ones we have dates for currently. Again, whether or not those dates stay, we'll see. Star Wars Outlaws comes August 30th, which, we talked extensively about a couple shows ago, so you can check that out. Being that that's a big Ubisoft release, I'm pretty confident they'll hit that date. Long awaited and delayed Stalker 2 comes out just after that on September 5th. So, stay tuned. We'll be talking more about that one in the future for sure, because Stalker 2
in fairness, they have a better excuse than most.
Absolutely, they do. Yeah, if you're not familiar with Stalker 2, they are a Ukrainian developer and have been quite literally mid-war, while developing.
They've actually lost members of their team as well.
Yes, they have. Yeah, people literally leaving for battle, which is nuts to think about. I hope that we get to. I was going to say, I hope there's like some sort of no clip or some sort of documentary about the development of that game post release. All right, moving on. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, another long delayed game that looks very, very good. Very excited about that one. September 9th. Yeah, it's what it looks like, Hogue, just to get you even more excited. Looks like Gears.
Yeah, that's right.
It looks better than Gears, I'm happy to say.
Stop it.
Yes, it does.
I mean,
it probably won't play as good, but
But Gears is amazing.
Yeah. But it does look great. It really does. I'm excited. I'm glad they've taken their time with it because this was supposed to release last year and they keep just kind of pushing it back and polishing it. So I hope it's ready to go September 9th. This week we got a look from Atlas at Metaphor ReFantanzio, which is the next game from Atlas, the Persona developers. I believe the director, if I recall, of Persona 3, 4, 5, and another game that I'm forgetting, but it looks, if you know Persona, obviously the art style and stuff is very striking, but I just absolutely adore the look of this game. The style, just everything about it.
It looks great. Yeah, no, I'm calling it Metaphor, aka not Persona, but it is definitely a Persona type game.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it looks incredible. So that's October 11th. They confirmed this week. Oh no, Shoosh, what are you doing to us? October 11th, and Atlas held a brief event this week. You can see on SG or anywhere else they did an overview of the game. It looks incredible. One thing I want to say about Metaphor before we jump over to a whole bunch of other games that don't have hard dates is I want to get your guys' thoughts. Have you noticed that a lot of the modern games, because they have to go on a bunch of platforms, right, cross-platform, especially with Switch, or if they have mobile versions, what have you, their UI UX design is very like consolidated. You know, it's very streamlined and simple, and they try to keep the UI UX very kind of legible, if you will, for all platforms. Whereas I look at something like Metaphor, which is so striking and so unique. I miss when games had that kind of like everything in the game, from the menus to the font to everything about the game is aimed at the art direction of the game itself. Do you know what I mean? I think
that's
looks
usually
really
what Persona is
cool.
known for, is very flashy menus that go with the Persona feel.
Yeah, it's
but
awesome.
yeah, I think there is advantage to keeping it more generic for multiple platforms and different display fonts and things like that. But I love a good UI, so I'm agreeing with you. One of the things that my daughters really like when they play games with me, and you'll laugh at this because my oldest daughter really does this. We'll be playing something and she'll be like, "Just isn't it lovely how there isn't anything blocking this wonderful image on the screen?" And she'll do that in the middle of long sessions of everything. She loves Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's non-UI because it doesn't appear very often, and she will
Sounds
comment
like
on how
she should
svelte
go
it
into
is.
UX, huh? She can be a UX developer. Future.
You never know.
You never
I
know.
try not
That'd
to
be awesome.
pigeonhole my kids. That they can do whatever they like. We'll
I
see.
love to pigeonhole children that aren't my own. I just go, you're going to be a civil engineer. You have no option. And then without fail, they do that career.
A few years
We'll
from
be in
now,
the
you
middle
can
of
do
a
it to
boss
your
fight or
kids.
something, and she'll say, "Have I mentioned how much I like that there is no UI here blocking the imagery?"
Wow. No, yeah, she
That's
should
great.
go into UI UX for sure.
I'm a big
Excellent.
stickler for that. Like, it's a big thing I look for in games.
Like actually, not
Really?
to bring up the crab game
Yeah.
again, but
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely,
UI,
yes.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Not just the
Treasure
design
has
of
a
it, Dan, but
delightful
like its implementation. Like a lot of the Souls games, they have fading UI, right? So like your UI is there, or you can push like Y to bring it up so you can see your health, your potions, everything. But as you start moving into the game, it all disappears. So you just see the game. I love that. Like, it drives me crazy when there's way too much shit on the screen
I
constantly.
would not have nominated any of the Souls games for UI UX, but
Why not?
Well,
it's pretty
very
messy.
functional at this point, and you know how to use it, Ains, but it isn't intuitive. It isn't great.
I like that it goes away. That certainly is cool. But yeah, when you actually dive into the menus, it's pretty spreadsheety. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it gets
It's an
harder, I
RPG.
think.
Yeah,
I
it
was gonna
gets
say it gets harder the more that
Yeah.
kind of statistics you get into. Yeah.
As someone playing Starfield this week, I can speak on clunky UIs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
100%.
It's not
Again,
great.
though, that game is so much. I mean, the crazier the RPG, this is why JRPGs have famously bad UI. Although I'll say the Persona series is kind of the exception to that rule. So
Yeah, it's known for its sexy UIs.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
And only one
Let's,
combat fight that you have to listen to every single time you get into a fight.
combat fight. Song.
Music.
Song, yeah.
You need
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I said combat fight. The combat song.
You won't have that problem in Rebirth.
No, you won't.
You know, it sounds crazy and we're off topic, but the craziest thing that bothered me about Sekiro is that every time you get into combat, it's the same tune in Sekiro, and I don't like the tune. So it's like every time I would fight an enemy, it starts playing the song, and I'm like, oh god.
It's like a pan flute or something like that. It's like playing like
it's like almost like
a
a whistle type thing, and it's just like, oh god. Anyway, those are kind of, again, not all the games, but some major games that we have dates for. We got a whole bunch of games that are, anticipated that we don't have hard dates for. We're going to touch on. Before we do that, let's get caught up on a few things. So want to shout out to Ash Axiom for gifting a membership both on the SG side and the Hogue side of the house. Thank you very much, Ash.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Good to see you. Tal in the house with a member comment. You're on mute, Dan.
know.
Hmm.
Sorry, the strawberry milk kicked in. I had to.
Nice.
Travis can't help himself. Good morning, Bitcasters. Hopefully, you're not pulling a double like me.
Oof.
Stay frosty.
That is correct. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Tal, I hope you're doing well. Try not to work yourself too hard there, my friend. Shoosh, the €5 super chat.
Shoosh with the €5. Hey, Travis, looking forward to your review of another Crab's Asian next week.
Nice.
Wouldn't it be like another Asian's crab though?
You're
fighting over the crab.
I mean, from the crab's perspective, if he's picked by said Asian,
that's my Asian.
So.
It sounds like a 90s sitcom.
I think it would be a great buddy comedy for sure.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'm interested to see this supreme and bold sequel.
Yep.
I'm not even touching this
trying
comment.
to see if Travis can get canceled.
I kind of want to hear the theme song for it. No.
Yeah, that too. But Shoosh, thank you. Always a pleasure, Shoosh. And just a quick shout out. I had to pull this one up because Blind Riot says SG is slaying it lately. Be well and keep it up, boys. Thank you very much, Blind Riot.
Like, are they committing murder? Or
we have been. I don't know how he knows about it. But
makes sense.
Yeah. So
Travis, I think that might be slang that the kids are saying to indicate they're doing well.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that what he meant? Yeah, I thought he was talking about the murders.
I know I'm the youngest one here, but the cool kids intentionally don't invite me to their slang meetings. They keep me out of all slang for obvious reasons.
No cap.
I do catch bits and pieces of their conversations from inside the locker, though. Usually,
we need to have a bunch of sayings that Hogue you just throw out randomly. You're like no cap. That's great.
I want to hear Hogue say
cap.
"slay queen" and stuff like that.
I can say the things my daughters say, so that's no
there
cap.
You go.
For real.
FR.
I say the whole word. Half of the things you guys say, I would have no idea what you're even talking about. My kids are grown up now, so I'm out of it.
Do you know what the Riz is?
Of course.
No.
Riz is a delightful shortening of the word charisma that was popularized by famous Spider-Man actor Tom Holland.
Oh, okay. Good for Tom.
He's got great Riz with the ladies, Ains.
Supposedly.
I'm sure he does.
At least one lady that we know of.
Johnny.
Okay. So with that, let's talk a whole bunch of games that we're waiting for updates on. Obviously, our cover game this week is Hollow Knight Silksong, which is a game where every time there's a show now, hordes of people are saying, will Silksong be there? Because it's almost become like this. It's supposed to release in 2022. It then was shown at Xbox's showcase where they said everything would release in the next year. Clearly, that wasn't true. It then 2023 came and went. It still hasn't released. And then just on April 1st, not as a joke, it finally became possible to wishlist this game, and it got rated in a few countries you typically see the ratings for prior to release, like South Korea and I think Australia. So it does seem that at least this game is finally coming sometime soon. It is expected late this year. Do you think we will see this again at the Xbox showcase in June, maybe with a release date?
That seems right.
Okay, 2 years after they showed it with a release date or release time frame. So, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know that any developer should participate in the dated kind of expos like that. I don't think it's helpful for them to say that this game is definitely going to release in the next year.
Yeah, agree.
And I think Xbox had a good idea to do that with their particular show. But obviously, it didn't work for even the games that they were self-producing, let alone things like Silksong.
Yeah. So this one, Hollow Knight is pretty revered, and it has a very hardcore community that adores that game. I think Silksong is going to be a very, very big release, even for what would be considered a smaller game in theory, right? It's not this big AAA published game, but it'll definitely find a huge audience, I think, upon release.
For the record, just to make sure that everybody really loves me out there on the internet, I do like Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown better than Hollow Knight.
Wow. It's kind of
yeah, I don't think you're too far off on that one. I really enjoyed Hollow Knight. I think it's really, really well done, but I'd have to think hard about that one because Lost Crown is just that good. So yeah. So reminder, 2 other games that are kind of looking great in early access have been 33 Immortals and Dungeons of Hinterberg, which, by the way, we're getting the ID at Xbox and IGN showcase tomorrow as we record this. So tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern is the ID at Xbox showcase with IGN, and there'll be updates on both of these games and a few more as I understand it. So looking forward to that. Yeah. Travis, you want to spill it all? Come on. No, you just want to talk about
IGN in partnership
crabs and
with
Asians.
Xbox.
Nothing
Travis
about
knows
ID
it all.
So yeah, more to come on this. So we'll talk obviously next week about it, but we'll know more tomorrow, which is kind of cool. There is, if you're not aware too, there is a beta sign up for 33 Immortals. You can sign up. They are granting access to that. So
Too many Immortals for me.
it's too many. Yeah, 31 you would have had me. 28 maybe. 33 is too many.
Too many Immortals.
Avowed, obviously, the big RPG from Obsidian that's coming. No release date.
More
just 2024.
crabs.
Yep, more crabs in that game too. We should obviously hear about this game in June, I would suspect. So hopefully we get a release date at the showcase in June.
I thought he said more crap. Like, damn, dude, that's pretty hard.
Damn. Oh, just get teletoxic on the show. There's more crap. Why?
More crap.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's pretty on brand for Hogue. He's the most toxic.
It is
commenter I've
not.
ever met. Yeah, it is, dude. You're always just like, dude, developers are all terrible. I don't like their games. It's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
he goes, I
Not
hate them all.
true.
He doesn't even
I
hates
love
his brother,
gaming.
who is a developer. He
Yeah,
talks.
yeah.
Yeah, the stuff he says about him.
It's
Oof.
pretty
I hope
brutal.
Avowed is great, but it definitely has more crabs and crab-like features.
Anytime a game has a crab in it now, we're gonna have to hear from Vote. You know what other
Guys.
game has crabs? No Rest for the Wicked.
That's
Does
true.
it?
Need to change the
It does
thumbnail, I
have
think,
crabs.
this week.
It really does.
Just
Crabs
crabs.
are big. Crabs
Yeah,
are
just want
in right
crabs.
now, guys. That's
You know
the
what?
thing you don't get.
You know
Crabs
what
are
game
big.
has crab-like creatures? Stellar Blade.
Really?
Yes, really. They have
Oh, wow.
like underwater shell things that fight you. Yeah.
Dude, crabs are goated right now.
I like Dell's idea that we need a crab meter. 8 crabs out of 10.
Oh,
I do want to know before I play these games what level of crab has infested the product.
I think it's fair. It's a fair question.
Damn it.
I think. What do you think it is about crabs that resonates so much with gamers? Dan, let's hear from you
Developer.
no.
So to me, this is like
That
I
one
should
alone.
start a specific Twitter account. Like, can you pet the dog? Do you have crabs?
Do you have crabs? No, I think you get a lot of weird tweets at you for that specific Twitter
Really kind of a
account.
personal
People will
issue.
be like, "Hey, here's a photo. Do I have crabs?"
Is this crabs?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, where have we gone here? All right. So I'm gonna segue from this to EA Sports College Football.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, which probably won't have crabs. Is there a crab mascot somewhere?
Ooh, there should be.
No. Should
No?
I
not
don't
be.
think
I
there
can't
are any
see one.
crab mascots.
But they
Oh.
have so
No.
many limbs.
Yeah.
Well, EA Sports College Football is still coming summer, is the latest EA gave. And the last update they tweeted was last month in March, saying that they now have over 10,000 players in the game. So as they work through those licensing issues, they also apparently got a bunch of colleges or universities to tweet out that they are in the game. I guess it's like a promotional thing. So
I figured.
So I think I heard the 12th or the 19th of July is what.
as a guess.
That's the rumors that
Okay.
are going around. So
Okay.
So hopefully it's one of those 2 days. I don't know for sure, but
Well, ideally, it would be shortly before the season starts at the
Yes.
latest.
yes.
And the season will start at about Labor Day.
Okay. I was going to say Madden's always late August, so it's about a month before Madden. So,
Right.
Yeah.
the crab
That's,
connection on
yeah.
this.
It'll basically be Madden 24.
Yeah.
With college stuff and some
Absolutely.
other
It
things
will.
that they added. It's always how it was back in the day. They just reskinned it. So
Yep.
Just
so
give me
I'm
my
gonna play the hell
national
out of it.
champion, Michigan Wolverines.
Yep. It'll be
They'd be
most
better
played
if they
game
were
this year.
crabs.
Actually, there is a crab connection here. Crab
Okay.
dance is a fantastic end zone celebration.
no nobody does it. I haven't seen a crab dance ever.
They will. They watch
What?
this year. Watch it take
Yeah,
off.
dude.
Everyone starts doing it.
It'll
Yeah.
be in there. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
No, Dan's right. They don't put the pincers up. But they do a
They
do a
should.
little side to side.
Yeah, like Hammer Time. Yeah, the hammer. Yeah, little bit of a crab situation going on.
They need to evolve it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I forgot to mention with Avowed, of course, that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is also due this year, according to Bethesda, assuming it doesn't get delayed. And as always, this will probably be a big showcase title in June as well. So should expect that one. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, we talked about. That's set for 2024. I'm super excited for that one, but we talked about that last show, I believe. So keep an eye for that. Little Nightmares 3. So this is an interesting one. It was scheduled for this year, but Supermassive had big layoffs in February. And so no idea where the standing on this one is. There hasn't been an update that I found anyway on it. And reminder that it's not the same team that did 1 and 2 anyway. It was a new Supermassive team, and they had those layoffs. So I don't know where this is going to fall eventually, but I guess we'll see. Silent Hill 2. Am I the only one pumped for this one?
No, that's
No.
sick.
Okay.
I'm the only one not pumped for this one.
Nope, I'm with you, Dan.
Hogue is also
Okay,
not
yeah.
pumped.
We're 50.
You don't like Silent Hill? You don't like horror games, or you don't like that game specifically?
I think this project has all the markers of a tire fire.
Really.
We'll see how it turns out.
Okay.
I haven't
Yeah, I'm
been
not a
keeping
horror
track
game
of
guy.
it, but I know that Silent Hill 2 is pretty cool. So
Silent Hill 2 is one of the all-time horror games. You have to be very
Yes,
cautious
easily
about doing anything
top
with
5.
it. And I doubt they're being very cautious, and I doubt that it will be a better product than the original. So
Who's
I'm
doing
not
it?
excited about it.
Bloober.
Oh, well, they might be all right.
yeah, could be
Usually
good.
pretty good. Of
I don't think I've liked anything they've ever made.
course you have.
Oh, I like Bloober Team.
Hogue doesn't
They're
like
not,
Neither
it.
have I
I mean,
really.
they're not like top tier. I wouldn't say they've produced anything that's a 9 or a 10, but they've done some good games.
What did they make? Didn't they
Well,
make
they
like
did.
the Blair Witch?
They did Blair Witch. They did. What's the one? The medium, not medium.
Yeah, the one with
Where
the
you go
psychic.
through dimensions.
Yeah.
I can't remember the
I know what
name
you're
of it
talking
now.
about. It was
I'm
terrible.
blanking on it. Someone tell me.
Yeah.
But it was decent. It wasn't as good as I hoped it was going to be, but it was decent. What am I forgetting? They did. Bloober Team did Layers of Fear, which is amazing.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Layers of Fear is
Layers of
really
Fear is
really
cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm thinking about going back because if you don't know, they did Layers of Fear, then Layers of Fear 2, and they did expansions. But then last year, they started working with Unreal 5, which they're using for Silent Hill 2. But they basically combined all the Layers of Fear 1, 2, and the expansions into one game. So you can go back
that's
and play
cool.
Layers of Fear into like one full story, which is pretty cool.
Layers
I
of
just
Fear
like
1,
how
I
when you
feel, is
described that, it
underrated.
sounded like a really evil Photoshop. They just combined all the layers of fear. They had a super fear layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Layers of Fear 1, I feel is pretty underrated. I feel like a lot of people didn't play that one.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet when it came out. And then I played 2. I didn't finish 2, but I played 2 a bit, but it was creepy as hell, which I love. So it was good. Yeah. Anyway, that is it's still scheduled for this year. There's a rumor going around we're going to see a PlayStation showcase next month in May. And as you know, this is, or as you may know, this is a PlayStation 5 exclusive on the console front anyway. So we'll probably see this at whatever the next PlayStation showcase is. So. All right. This is one that Hogue, I figured we might be interested in, or I know I am, but you might be as well, I should say. It's Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, because again, kind of like Crew Motorfest, this is playing to the Horizon kind of game and genre. It looks a lot like Horizon. It was shown at the NACON event in February or March. Still expected by the end of the year. But if you look at the recent gameplay of this one, I mean, it's same thing, very similar to Horizon. I'm just kind of curious to
I
see
will
what they
look
do with
at it. I don't recall liking the Test Drive like feel of
Yes.
control as much as other
Yeah.
games, but I do like the Horizon model of driving games.
Yeah.
Although I may not ever finish all the content in the Crew Motorfest, so who knows?
Me neither, actually, and I reviewed it. It's just, there's a lot. So, Wolf Among Us 2 is another interesting one. I love Wolf Among Us. I think it's my favorite Telltale game, actually. And
Not
2
Walking Dead Season 1?
That's, I mean,
Pretty tough.
it's
close.
excellent. Yeah, Walking Dead Season 1's excellent.
Wolf Among Us, I think, is good for me because it's so stylized and like it's such a
Yeah.
vibe, whereas Walking Dead is just like pure sadness. It's like
It is
just-
pure sadness.
you have to just
Yeah.
go in like ready to be sad for like hours at a time. That's pretty brutal. But Wolf Among Us is just like, oh, I'm solving a mystery and I'm a big bad wolf. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Cool. It's cool.
I just like that description.
It's
Hanging out with
cool.
a pig that talks.
What
one
about
of
a
the pigs
crab?
I made homeless.
Started talking
Look-
crab in it.
I don't believe there are any crabs in the Wolf
I don't
Among
think
Us,
so.
but you'd have to check
So.
me.
Have you guys read Fables?
No, I have not.
So good.
Does Sandman cross over with Fables or no?
If it does, I did not know that, but not to my knowledge.
So, for the audience, if you don't know, Wolf Among Us is based on a graphic novel from a Fable series, which was, probably better than I do, Travis. It was a series, was it not? Of
Yeah. It's
So,
really cool. And I think after the first Wolf Among Us game, they did some new stuff for it. I actually never engaged with that, but it's a very cool world. So yeah, Wolf Among Us is technically a licensed game, but it's like a license that not too many people know about, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great game. I don't know if the sequel is going to be good though. It seems like this has been in kind of development hell a little bit.
It has. It was in development, then it was canceled, then it was back in development, and then
Well, Telltale isn't Telltale anymore, right? Like it started at Telltale Prime, and this is new. We bought the name Telltale.
Well, there's a lot of people on that team who were.
I think there's
Telltale.
I think there's some carryover, yeah, but I don't know
Yeah.
the percentage or who's leading what. And they had layoffs last week, or they had layoffs last month, something like
They've
that.
had layoffs a couple times in the past few years. It was like right after, because I went down to their studio for the Expanse, and yeah. I met with their team. They definitely have some like bona fides that are from the original team, and they were super happy to be back. But I don't think that game sold super well, and so the layoffs are kind of understandable. But I really hope they at least get this game out. Wolf Among Us 2 Season 2 would be a dream come true for me.
Yeah, so they shared pictures of it last week saying it's still in dev and still coming. So hopefully, I would think they're probably so well invested into it by now. You'd hope to turn a profit on it, but we'll see.
I think this one will definitely come out. I don't know if it'll be the end of the studio or not, but I think this one will definitely come out.
Yeah, and whether or not it'll be nearly as good as the first season, I guess we'll see. So
I think that would be the wrong axis to judge it on, because both nostalgia glasses and because there's almost no chance. But
yeah,
I think it could be good. I was unfortunately a little let down by The Expanse, and I say that as a big fan of the Expanse project.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I love that property.
I thought the
Expanse
first
is so
episode
good.
was really had a lot of potential, and then I don't even think I finished it, but the other episodes didn't really deliver.
Gotcha. So let me shout out real quick. While you guys were chatting, I was kind of going back through the chat and looking at everyone on both sides of the house here who put hashtag Wicked, and the winner is Nissa Hauer. So Nissa, congratulations on the No Rest for the Wicked code. DM me on Twitter, and I'll get you that code today.
What's a PM?
I don't know what a PM is, but don't do that.
That's when you DM at nighttime.
Private message. That's what
You want to PM me,
forums
baby?
use.
Isn't that from the old AOL days?
It's from message boards, forums. Yeah, I'm old. I mean, what do you want?
DM and the PM, baby. What do you think?
If you're not on Twitter, Nissa, just you can find on SG Discord. You can find me there. Just get in touch with me one way or another. I'm all over the place. You can find me. But congrats, Nissa, and thank you for everyone who hung out and entered. Appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Shoosh, at it again. Craps me up.
We'll get to that. A couple other games to call out here. So Ease X Nordics, which I put on here for you, Hogue.
East 10, Ains. East 10.
East
folks.
10. Ease X. I mean, come on, it's an X. East 10 Nordics.
Ease X sounds like what your doctor might prescribe if you're having a little bit of trouble.
Sorry, if you're a PlayStation guy, you have to pronounce it East Cross, I believe.
He's cross.
Yeah.
Ease X. Yeah, to Dan's point, do you use Ease X on your crabs or
No, that's
no? Okay.
the dipping sauce.
Unfortunately, there's almost certainly going to be a crab monster in East, but I love East.
Yeah. East is a classic JRPG IP. It's been around a very long time. So this is scheduled. They did have a trailer for this. It is scheduled for fall still. So hopefully that
it'll hit
delayed.
because I believe East 10 has been out in Japan for some time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it is NIS America, I believe. That's porting it, right? That's bringing it over, the translation.
Localization,
So,
man.
yep. One of the big ones that we haven't heard about yet, they say they're pretty confident, which doesn't mean much of anything, but is Dragon Age, right? The next Dragon Age, Dreadwolf. There's been developer commentary on this, and there's EA in their fiscal reporting said they're pretty confident. That was the quote, that this will release in 2024. Now, whatever that fiscal looks like, but it's supposedly still coming this year. Whether or not we'll see more of this in one of these showcases, Xbox, PlayStation, something else, who knows? But I'm definitely interested to see what this next Dragon Age looks like. They've been working on it for a long time.
Yeah,
So.
and apparently scrapping what the game
I was
was
gonna say,
and starting over. Yeah.
This is one where they've been working on it a long time, is maybe a little bit illusory, right? They were working on a different type of game for a while.
Supposedly, yeah.
I don't
we saw leaked footage of it.
We did.
It leaked, yeah.
I don't believe this game will release this calendar year.
I don't think so.
There is a small chance that it could show at a conference of some kind over the summer.
I think we'll get a big like showcase announcement thing, and people will be hyped, and then I think they'll be like, we need a couple more months, and it'll be like early next year.
First half 2025, something.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm hyped for that one. I think it was Don said he's Dragon Age diehard. So yeah, I think it has Dragon Age is fantastic as an IP. I just hope we haven't seen they're not BioWare of old, right? So I'm very curious to see where this game ends up. So
well, if I'm them, I'm terrified of Baldur's Gate 3. And I don't think they would have been designing around that to begin with. So that's what I would be nervous about. Like Origins was fantastic.
Yes.
The rest was not. So
rest
I liked Inquisition. The
rest of Dragon Age was not fantastic.
Well, you don't like Inquisition? Inquisition's pretty good.
No, it's not.
It wasn't Origins, but I liked it.
I mean, it didn't have the
Origins
same vibe,
is fantastic. 2 is terrible. Inquisition is slightly better.
I don't think Inquisition's slightly better. You got to give it more than that. 2 is
Inquisition was
real bad.
Like the OG.
It was real bloat goat.
Oh, it is.
So
Yeah. It had the
like original recipe bloat goat.
It had bloat. Yeah.
Oh wait. Are you saying that we have a bloat goat sighting?
We were trying, Ains.
100%.
You know where the buttons are.
Dragon Age Inquisition
Dragon
from
Age
2014, a decade later. Stamp it.
Bloat goat.
It didn't shorten it yet.
Yeah.
It's a really awkward silence there at the end.
I think we should keep the silence because that is bloat. The graphic has bloat on it.
Oh yeah, actually it should be longer.
I think
it
you
should
just
go longer.
Yeah, I think you should have like extra 5 seconds of bloat. That way it's just also it'd be nice for a bathroom break, in this long podcast.
There you
go. Just sits there for like 2 minutes with a picture of a goat.
The bloat goat graphic is too long. I like that.
That's perfect. It's as designed.
Oh my god. Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Dragon Age. Of course, I'm just curious to see more. And then I just put on here. I mean, I don't think this panel is big on Call of Duty, but a lot of rumblings about Gulf War and it being at the Xbox Showcase now because of post ABK. The other big rumor here, if you care about Call of Duty, is that in Modern Warfare 3. They remastered a bunch of the Modern Warfare 2 maps, which is the multiplayer suite, right? So the big thing for Gulf War that's coming this year is supposedly that all the multiplayer maps are going to be from Black Ops. So a whole bunch of classic Black Ops.
Are they really calling a Call of Duty game Gulf War?
The same question.
I'm 99% sure, unless I could be going senile, but I'm 99% sure that's what's coming this year.
I get that they've done real wars in the past, but now we're doing the bad wars. That's crazy. Like we should do like a Call of Duty Spanish American
Gulf War. Yeah, Gulf War.
That's crazy.
Now we're doing the bad wars.
Yeah, because
all
they were great before. I mean, they were fantastic. You could do like
World War II and you get it. It's like, okay, it's like triumphant. There's like a cause, but like, like quagmires, like just crazy, weird.
I mean, they've done a Vietnam Call of Duty.
What was that one? Did I miss this? What's the Vietnam Call?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Black Ops was technically Vietnam era, but they did Vietnam. The Vietnam expansion was in Battlefield.
Okay. An expansion.
Black Ops was technically the Vietnam era, And then
I'm mixing
fight
up
in the
my
Vietnam
war
War in that.
games.
Yeah.
Battlefield Vietnam is goated, not bloat goated, just
Really?
goated. Battlefield Vietnam is like the best, besides maybe Bad Company 2. Battlefield Vietnam was amazing. Yeah.
I'm looking
I like
for
2042.
Call of Duty Spanish
2042 is a
American
good
War.
game now. It's a good
Should be
game.
good.
Sorry, Travis. What?
I was saying I'm looking forward to Call of Duty Spanish American War. Let's just start doing all the random like weird wars. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, Planet Yavin says they should call it Call of Duty Desert Storm. It sounds cooler.
Desert Storm.
God, I remember Desert Storm. Do you remember, now this is about as American as it gets, do you remember in 92, 93 when Desert Storm, they had Desert Storm trading cards? You could buy packs of Desert Storm trading cards.
Yeah.
Tell you what I loved was
That's crazy.
the Strike
Yeah, that's
series.
America, like summarized.
Yeah, Desert Strike, and you had little cutscenes with Saddam.
Yes, Desert Strike and Jungle Strike are also goated games. Those games were
what?
incredible.
The Strike games are fantastic. Come
Yes,
on,
they
EA,
are.
bring it back.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh, see Stingray X. See, I have packs of those from my dad.
Oh,
I wasn't kidding.
Was it a playing card game? Like, could I play my?
No, it was collectibles. Like you would get, like, no joke. It was like, here's this helicopter, here's this tank. Here, it's baseball cards for a war.
Yeah.
God,
It was like
dude,
garbage
that's
pail games,
wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should
You
play
can give
Desert Strike. They have like
Yeah.
a whole commentary about Scud missile launchers and things in there. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do.
That's cool.
So the game
I'm
I
not
was getting
playing this.
confused by was World at War, which was in the Pacific Theater of World War
Yes.
II.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
is,
it was.
yeah. But again, World War II, I feel like is nostalgic and it's got like a very obvious like bad guy, and but like the Gulf War, like damn, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild.
I think that you're just more aware of the propaganda and news of the stuff that you were alive during, right?
You
Like
think
I don't
was
think the
alive during the
Pacific-
Gulf War.
Were you not?
No,
Yeah, you were. Gulf War was early 90s.
I mean, maybe I
It was
was
literally
like,
like 1990.
yeah, like a toddler. Like I wasn't
No.
cognizant.
You were there.
I've read about it. I know what happened, obviously.
Also,
But
I
I
love the
wasn't-
fact that for World War II, you use the word nostalgia.
Yeah. Once a war is old
Uh,
enough, you can, but like, stuff that we were alive for seems kind of crazy.
One of the most horrific errors ever for humanity.
I mean, it was
Man,
both
what a throwback.
great
Yeah,
darkness
the
and great
nostalgia
light,
from
right?
World War II.
I do think
Yeah.
Travis is right. There is certain rose-tinted glasses on certain conflicts.
Yeah, that's my point. Is certain conflicts like you wouldn't do if you did a game that was about the Vietnam War, you would have to make it about the problems with that, for it to like work. But World War II, you could just be like, oh yeah, you're a hero. You're playing for the good side. You're fighting Nazis. Like it's like really easy, right? But I just find that it's weird that they're just weird, dude. It's weird they're doing.
I guess we'll see what they do. I mean, the thing about Call of Duty, right? They usually have these short campaigns that do have this, this kind of evil guy at the heart. So I'm going to be curious. To your point, I think is what do they do with Gulf War?
Who's
How
the
do they
evil
frame
guy?
that up? Yeah, how do they frame it?
Yeah,
I mean,
if they,
Hussein. That's who.
if they
It's
make
definitely
it,
Saddam.
if they make it
No,
like
it's
Spec Ops the
Saddam.
Line and there's like commentary and it's kind of cool, I'm down. But that just doesn't feel like Call of Duty, right?
You want Call of Duty and its writers to be making social commentary? I question
Yes.
your judgment, Travis.
I do want them to do that. Are they going to? No.
No, you
but-
want them to make your social commentary that you would approve of, whatever it might be. You don't trust
That's
the
not
freaking
true.
Activision board that we've just watched navigate the last 3 years making war commentary with their games.
You know the board doesn't make the game, right, Hoke?
I know that the board funds the game and
Yeah.
approves the way the games are made.
But I mean, come on. The writers could tell a good story. Don't discount that just because they've been pretty Hollywood blockbustery in the past. What if we saw something new from them? Wouldn't that be cool?
I think there are lots of new things that could be cool in the Call of Duty franchise. I like Infinite Warfare. I don't think them commenting on wars in our living memory is a good idea from Activision.
We'll see.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it. They're making Gulf War. So if they don't address it at all and they just make it a regular Call of Duty game, it's going to be crazy.
But they are definitely not going to address anything.
Yeah, I honestly think all they do with this is just the era of the weaponry. That's basically what they go for. They're not trying to address what happened in the Gulf War. I don't think.
That's crazy. That seems like such a missed opportunity. Come on.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
I'm gonna give them a little more credit. I think there's gonna be some sort of like they're gonna try to do a little deeper layer than just there's a bad guy you need to take down. That would be wild if it was just go kill Saddam. That would be crazy if that was the whole.
It's not gonna be go kill Saddam, but it's
go
gonna
help him. Yeah.
It's not gonna be go help.
Definitely not the Gulf War.
Yeah. I forget what I was gonna say now. Damn it. Shout out to Infinite Warfare, by the way. Great campaign in that game.
I love Infinite Warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a game.
Yeah.
Not the content.
As a side dish, not so good, but as a game, amazing.
Which game?
Yeah. Infinite Warfare.
That game was cool, but again, it's like fantasy. It's like a not, it's
that was
like
sci-fi.
It's Jon Snow taking over various planets in the solar system. Yes, of course it is.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot he was in it.
Yeah, he was the lead.
I liked that campaign, but again, that's like very different vibe. That's like a fantastical made-up war with crazy stuff happening, and it's very Hollywood blockbuster.
But you do realize World War II was real, right? Like Call of Duty has been baked into making money off of real wars and conflicts and deaths.
Yes,
like the Gulf War is not sacrosanct on this spectrum,
but it is
they can make money off of those deaths too.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is that it's easy to sidestep commentary in World War II because you can make it more black and white. Is my point.
Right? I just want to know if my Cheech and Chong skin will carry over for the campaign.
Yeah, can I have Snoop Dogg be the narrator?
The Gulf War as a dinosaur with a flamethrower or whatever they're selling now.
Yeah,
yeah. Someone posted that the other day. It's like a raptor or something as a character. I'm like, what? Wasn't Call of Duty based on real wars at one point in time? What are we doing?
Yeah, it was. Wow. It was. Yeah,
this is where I missed the vibe of Medal of Honor.
That was a vibe.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah. Well, we will see. There's a bunch of good games to come this year still. I'm super excited for. There's a bunch that we've talked about today that I'm pumped for. I'm very, very excited to cover Hellblade here in just a week or two, honestly. So, I can't wait for that. But are there any games that come top of mind that we didn't touch on that are coming this year you guys are pumped for?
Here we go.
I talked about V Rising. I'm hopeful for Homeworld 3. I really like the Homeworld series.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, that's just PC though, right? I have to get a PC.
Yeah, I'm sorry. PC does have games as well.
It's garbage.
Garbage. He doesn't believe you.
Is it because the interface is too complicated for consoles?
No, it's because I don't have one. Here's the thing. Like, I love Homeworld.
No, I meant why don't they make it for consoles? What I was asking.
Well,
it's very complicated.
Homeworld would have to solve for some real interface problems because it is in the full dimensions.
Oh, Homeworld 3 comes out in 2 weeks, May 13th.
That's literally what he was just saying.
What are we, Ains?
I was looking it up while you were talking. I'm sorry. Sorry.
What in the hell is happening here? No, I'm also excited for that game. I might have to see if it runs on my computer. I'm not holding my breath.
Cool. So what? Oh, it's a strategy game. Okay, gotcha. I've heard of Homeworld many times, but I've never played it. No.
Okay.
It's like a fully 3D in space.
Oh, you haven't played Homeworld?
It's crazy, man.
Crazy. I was really into strategy games when I was younger, like RTS games, and I've just completely fallen off of them. I don't play them at all.
Some of the best storytelling in RTS, which I know is a very low bar to clear, but it really is from the Homeworld.
In Homeworld? Nice. So like Call of Duty?
A little bit stronger than Call of Duty.
Okay, just a little bit. Okay, cool.
They did just release like remasters of those first two, I think, too, not too long ago.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Nice.
Good games.
Well, all right. Let me make sure here. We got a couple other super chats and things to catch up on here. Mr. Console Peasant in the house.
The 10 euros cozy podcast.
The Cozy Podcast. We should brand ourselves as the Cozy Podcast. Cozy's all the rage right now.
You'd have to elevate Hogue Notes.
This is a cozy podcast. I mean, can you imagine our listeners with the mug of hot cocoa curling up in their little study area?
Sorry, only strawberry milk to watch our
only.
Oh, sorry, yeah, good point. Good point.
Hot strawberry.
Listening to us
Bosco.
talk about crabs for 2.5 hours. I mean, who doesn't want that?
I want to go
Sunday
through this
morning.
list with a crab rating.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I am in the unfortunate position of having been really looking forward to games mostly in the first quarter of this year. So like Rebirth is done. The big 3-year Final Fantasy swing is over. So speaking of bad UIs, Final Fantasy 14 takes some getting used to trying to interact with that game.
Sure.
That just has pictures of things all over.
MMOs in general are usually pretty complicated in that sense.
Well, it asks you to do some of the labor for it, right? It's like you change it however you like. It's like, that's fine, but that's work. I would like it if you didn't put this giant picture of an armadillo in the middle of my screen. What if you didn't do that as your default? No? Okay.
At least start with a crab. Just BKZ.
Probably just because.
Yep. Clancy Brown voice. It's me money. That is not a Clancy Brown voice. I don't know. I know who Clancy Brown is. I'm not sure if I could do his voice.
It's funny. I know who he is too, and I'm not sure what his voice sounds like as I try to recall it.
Based on the way he wrote it, it's got to be like Cockney or Irish would be my guess.
Neither one of those.
Okay.
He's the sergeant from Starship Troopers. He was the guy from Shawshank Redemption, the main main guard there. Also in Detroit Become Human.
It's crazy that he remembers that you guys remember that character's name from a movie.
That's not.
It's not a character.
Oh, that's the actor's name.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's why I don't recognize it. I don't know actors. So there you go.
Yeah, Dan just gave you the whole IMDb.
Yeah,
for real.
Dan nailed it. He is in Detroit Become Human. He's the detective partner.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Nice.
Brown.
Who accidentally committed suicide in my run of Detroit Become Human because I'm bad.
That's rough, man.
Yikes.
All right. Member for 18, MZ. Lots of crabs. 10 crabs. 10 for the Bitcast. Crab some banter. Consider making a cute hermit crab emoticon. LOL.
Okay.
I tell you what, if you become a member of the Hogue Law channel, maybe we can put together a crab emoticon. We'll see if I can do that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. We'll get some crabs.
Should it be 10 out of 10 crabs, or should it be 10 out of 10 limbs on a crab?
You just want a crab leg emoticon?
I want it to be a full crab if it's achieved all 10. And then we'll have different versions where it's missing various limbs down to one limb.
Down to one. It's just standing on one of its little legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe if I do this, I can get Travis as a member of my channel.
Awesome. That'd be great. I'm pretty sure I've been gifted membership at your channel a few times and then lapsed. That's typically how I go. Yeah.
Speaking of, shout out to Nikki Bailu, the YouTube member over here on the SG side. Thank you, Nikki. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Bay.
Helping us out.
Thanks, Bay. Debbie W.
All right, with the $10 super chat, thank you, Debbie. Dragon Age Inquisition. How to get out of the hinterlands. Love the game. That is so true. Love the game. Better than 2, but almost as good as Origins. Still super salty about losing my Grey Wardens. I expect Dreadwolf in 2025.
I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah,
I think all of that's fair. Yep. Yeah, 2 is a big letdown. At least for me.
I do love the Grey Wardens. I do love the BioWare pattern of joining a secret society.
2 was that rushed game post the success of Origins, but then they kind of changed the whole structure of it. That's what I didn't like.
They did, yeah. And it was all in one city, and you retreaded a lot of the same areas. The writing was awful. NPCs that you made friends with were pretty bad. So I think Inquisition rallied a lot of that in terms of the NPCs were a lot better, your party members, and it was bloated though. I'll give you guys that. It definitely had. It was Game of the Year that year, though. I mean, that year kind of sucked for games, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not going to lean on the Game Awards to justify our feelings on video games, are we?
No, but I'm just to point out that like people really liked that game, and at the time, you know, that
I mean, our critics, people.
Yes.
We have Travis here on the show.
I mean, this isn't the first time somebody's tried.
That's not helping the argument.
Say that I'm not a human, but yeah, it's I should be used
Debbie.
to it by now, I guess.
Thank you for the support, Debbie. Appreciate you. Oh, she followed up.
Oh, another one. Also, my kiddo, and I have been playing the heck out of Minecraft this week with the Armadillo update.
So excited about armadillos.
Puppies.
Minecraft is amazing. Keep playing it.
Minecraft just is, the longevity of that is bonkers.
So good.
You got
The
crabs,
kiddos, man, the kiddos
armadillo.
love Minecraft. I it's not for me, obviously, but like that kind of building mentality, they love. I think my youngest has 45 worlds.
Whoa,
It's a lot.
Nice.
she's a god. 45 worlds.
45 times over.
Yeah.
Some publisher did a book on like absolutely absurd or insane creations in Minecraft. For whatever reason, they reached out to SG. They sent me a copy of it. I have it sitting on the shelf over here. If you look through it, it is absolutely unbelievable what some people have made in Minecraft. Like
I
it
saw
doesn't even
recently-
it doesn't even make sense.
My daughter has woken up and just said, I'm going to do creative mode today, and just done it all day, and then showed me what she's come up with, and it's all crazy.
I saw there was an effort in Minecraft to make a banned books library in Minecraft so that countries that have like heavy censorship can read the stuff they're not supposed to read by logging onto a Minecraft server and going to like this virtual library and reading it all. Stuff like that, like that's wild, dude, that's in the game. So
no doubt.
Cool.
Yeah, the book, if you're really into Minecraft, it might be something for your daughter there, Hogue. It's called Minecraft Master Builds. It's actually a very cool book, and it talks about some of the like craziest creations in the game that have been made and the history behind them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She loves that stuff. She loves creative mode. Like the creative modes of these games have never been for me. Like there's just no game there, right? It's
I
just,
like the survival mode mostly.
it's just dumping out a crate of Legos and doing what you feel like, and she loves it because it's dumping out a crate of Legos and doing what you feel like.
What are the odds that your daughter's in that book that Ames is referencing? Like something she made?
0. I mean, I think most of the stuff she makes she doesn't make it public. She's not supposed to, at least.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, no,
she's gonna get in trouble if you see one of her 45 worlds in that book.
There's no, this book is like, you know, where it's like these 40 people work together for 4 years, you know, to make this, and it's like you know,
what
it's
does
nuts.
that give you? Like just a sense of accomplishment?
It's
Because
cool.
That's super overrated.
It's creative, right?
Have you never
why
played
does
with
my
Legos?
daughter draw pictures? It's
I hate
creative.
Legos.
They like to make things.
Discussed this before.
Just another set of tools.
Yeah, you never played with Legos or
Of course I
done a
did.
drawing that you were proud of or whatever. It's just for fun. It's creativity. You get to go hog wild. Again, I'm kind of on Hogue's side that like the creative part never jived with me. I love the survival mode though, because to me, if you can build something really cool in a world where you have to like manually get the bricks and accrue the resources and all that, that to me is more rewarding. So
My son plays
it's
like
still
Pokemon in it. Like there's a whole Pokemon
game. People make mods that
make game
like
modes
crazy.
Yeah.
I've played a
Nice.
D&D campaign in Minecraft where you know
Yeah.
the GM makes like a story in a world to walk you through it, and then the players play as Minecraft characters and go through it, and you can do whatever you want in that game. It's
crazy.
I'm amazed by it.
It's,
Of late, we've been mostly playing Sticky Business, which we discussed last week.
Nice. I actually sent so funny enough, after our show last week, I got the PR email about Sticky Business, and it's from one of the guys I know in PR. We follow each other and have talked before. I actually sent him a note back and said, hey, by the way, we discussed Sticky Business on the show this week. Here's a link and the timestamp for him to check it out. Pretty cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes. People should know we're trying to talk about games that maybe aren't getting that much coverage when I think they're great. And Sticky Business is a lot of fun, but like creative mode in Minecraft, it's not exactly the type of thing I would play ordinarily. So, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you. Shoosh.
Shoosh for the €5. I love that SG keeps generating iconic and risky one-liners. Dan and lesbians, Travis and Asians, Ains and Hogue. Time to catch up. You guys really need to get on it. Listen,
I'll work on it.
I don't know why any of those are risky, to be honest with you.
I mean, I love lesbians, so I mean, I'm not sure.
I love Asians.
Lesbian. Dan's
live
or
amongst them.
Travis is marrying an Asian.
I am marrying an Asian. It's true. Cat's out of the
now I
bag,
understand
folks.
This is not iconic or risky.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm keeping it interracial up in here. That's how we do it. That's how we do it up in the Northup household.
The Northup household. There you go.
I like to think she's just off camera making faces at him. Right?
Yeah, she's always permanently. No, she hates my show. She's not a fan of me.
Okay, I get it.
She's like, I can't look at him anymore.
Yeah,
I can't do it. So
yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up today. Chat, you've been awesome today. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the conversation. we are going to go ahead and close this out on the SG side of the house. Like I said, a bunch of reviews we've been knocking out. We actually, and Travis is going to laugh because obviously compared to something like IGN or even, how many reviews you knock out in a year by yourself. But we just did, Harold Halibut represented our 20th review of the year for SG, which is a small independent site. It's actually quite a lot if you count that up.
It is a lot. It's more than I've done this year.
So we're actually we're trying to do more and more coverage of things like that. So you can check out Withering Rooms I commented on, Harold Halibut. You can check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if you want to. And obviously we've got some other things in the works as well.
Cast Co-op justify Alex's time. Read that review.
Yes. Cast Co-op is back this week. Should be anyway with me, Joe, and Luke, of course. So hopefully look for that. And then we didn't talk about this game, but it is causing quite the stir on Steam right now. Is Manor Lords?
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I'm not playing it, but a lot of people are playing it. It is made by. It was initially built by one guy. But
we love that story in gaming, don't we?
Yeah, I know. What was I going to say? We do have Ray working on this right now too, so we'll talk more about that next week. Yeah,
me boy.
Yeah. No, Ray's awesome, man. He's been great to work with. So,
Manor Lords is like a big seller right now on Steam. I'm not an early access guy. I've said that before, but it did launch in early access this week.
It's on Game Pass.
Nothing but good things.
It's on Game Pass PC as well. Yes.
Yeah. Dee played a little bit of it. I'm not sure what her thoughts are, but I will probably see more of that game in my house. So
yeah. So we'll talk more about that next week, but we'll have a review on it as well. So Hogue, pass it to you this week. What you got happening, my friend?
Sure. Well, as people that have only watched my channel know, I didn't do anything this last week in terms of video making. So apologies there. Maybe we'll
playing 20 hours of Starfield instead.
I was playing some Starfield. I was shirking my video responsibilities by self-care. But yes, I will probably be making more videos this week. I know that, as we've discussed before, May 1st is when I'm supposed to hear whether or not I won the Stroke Voters' Choice Award from the American Stroke Association. So we'll see if there's something to discuss on May 1st. Travis is crossing his fingers, hoping that I won. But we'll see.
I voted for you a bunch of times, so
I appreciate that, Travis.
It wasn't my fault.
I think a bunch of us here did. So yeah, hopefully. When did you say that we find out definitively?
May 1st, which is what, Wednesday?
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So if we do have some news there, hopefully I can put a stream together with some friends. But if not, we'll try to cover it in some way or another and talk about some other things in the world of video gaming or otherwise. But no videos right now on the channel other than Bitcast appearances. So thank you for being here, everybody.
Cool. Yep. I'm glad we kept this dual thing going. It works for us. So it's good. It's good. Travis, what you got?
Yeah. No Rest for the Wicked review, another Crab's Treasure review. I've got some cool news on games coming out this week that's embargoed. And then I'm doing some cool coverage coming up, previews and whatnot. You should watch the ID at Xbox thing that we're doing this week.
Tomorrow?
And tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
And also... I'm reviewing this month, May, because we have a lighter release month. We're going to hopefully spend some of that time re-reviewing old games that are still relevant. So I'm starting with Fallout 76. I might make my way around to Disney Dreamlight Valley, which we never did a full review of. We did an early access review and then never followed up with it. So now might be the time for that. And yeah, lots of cool stuff coming in the future that I'm really excited to talk about. Also, you should give a look at all the Eternal Strands coverage, which ended on Tuesday with the first preview of the game, just my impressions, having played it for 2 days at their studio. And we've got a bunch of content that you can check out as well. So
Travis is doing work.
And shout out to we'll talk obviously here in the coming month about it, but IGN Live is going to be happening in LA too, the same weekend that Keeley's Summer Game Fest show live is happening, that the Xbox showcase is happening, and Ubisoft Forward as well. So hopefully we're trying to coordinate behind the scenes. I'm definitely going to be in LA, be at the Xbox show, trying to coordinate going to IGN Live too, so I'll be able to report for that. And Travis, just be really cool if you can make it down. We'll see.
I'm trying to come up with an excuse to be in LA at that time, but since like IGN Live, there's nothing to cover because we know all the stories and have already
Yeah.
pre-done that coverage. And so it's a question of like, can I make an excuse to be down there, even though we already have an office down there and a bunch of people covering it who live nearby. So
Just tell them you need funding to support Season Gaming. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with some reason to be there, but more than likely, it's looking like I'm just going to be busy with other projects during that period of time. So we'll see.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, thank you as always. Chat, you're awesome today. Thanks for hanging out with us. Like I said, if you enjoyed the time here, make sure to share it, leave us a comment or something. It's been a little weird in the algorithm space, so any help you can do in that regard is certainly appreciated. Other than that, we will be back next week, of course, with more games as always to talk about. Hope you enjoy your gaming this week. Have a great week. We will see you then. Peace.